Welcome on stage, the one, the only Brother Rich!
Oh, man, I'm glad. Thanks for coming out, family. We got a real good turnout today, family. I'm glad all y'all came out. Where's everybody from? Everybody's Chi-Town, Harlem, D.C., Alaska? Stand up. Give that sister a hand, Alaska, man. Give that sister a hand. Oh, Alaska, wow. You heard that, the Duke? Alaska. Hey, I would have never guessed it. But listen, we're getting ready to start. The first gentleman I want to bring up, I remember when I first started my journey in Brooklyn, I met the brother. It was probably about 2006 or something, or 7, something like that, probably 2007. And the brother was just a real good-hearted brother. The brother was serious about his information, and the brother always had his own style. And when I look back at what everybody's doing now, I can honestly say that this brother I said was ahead of his time. With the information, with the way the brother dressed, with the way the brother presented himself, with the I remember when the brother did his first lecture on comic books, and he shocked us. We was all at LIU. Was anybody there for that lecture? Science of Superheroes? Yeah, shout out to all y'all. But the brother's awesome, man. Gathering of the Metaphysical Masters. I guess I want to make this like a annual thing or something like that, you know, where we bring some of the best speakers out. You know, we live in a world that we're so overstimulated by our senses, we forget that this realm gets formed from an invisible realm. And these brothers is here today to talk to you about tapping into that invisible realm so that you may take more power and have dominion over your physical realm. So with that being said, my brother Isaiah the Duke of Tears, come on up, my brother.
Islam, everyone. Islam. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Brooklyn. Thank you for having me. Oh, wow. There's so many beautiful faces. Thank you guys for coming through, inshallah. Again, thank you guys for all the support. Let's give it up for Brother Rich. Definitely for doing his thing. Wow. Wow. It's so great to see y'all. Before I get into it, I just wanted to do a little... Second. Islam, I don't know if y'all know, we got hip-hop royalty right here. This is the ultimate ultramagnetic brother Cedric L. Ced G holding us down. Islam. Love and light to everybody. Real quick before I get into what I want to present to everybody, I just wanted to give honorable mention to some of our giants, lords, lordesses, emperor, empresses that's not on the physical plane anymore. Again, honors to Brother Steve Coakley, Brother Khalid Muhammad, Dr. Felder, Francis Cress Wilson, the magnificent Prince Uriel Bey, Dr. Delbert Blair, Dr. Savy, Myra Shira Eel, who else? My dad, blessed dead. Anyone who is present that lost someone, well, they didn't lose someone, that their ancestor, whoever transcended, I want to give that respect and love to you. C. Freeman L. Islam. Name another one. Who else? Anybody got another one? If you got another one, let me know. Francis Cress Wilson, definitely sent her. Dr. Sabi, Myra Shira Eel. Who else? Steve Coakley said him. Bobby, well, Bobby's still here. Ivan Van Sertima, Islam. Golden Age of the Moor, that's very important. Honorable mentions, though, to, who else we got? Honorable mention goes to, again, Brother Big Man. I don't know anybody remember Brother Big Man. Brother Big Man, Brother Bobby Hammett, Brother Daoud, who else? Brother Shabazz, Hakeem Bey, Jose Pimenta Bey, Sister Rashida Bey, Sister Valeria Bey. So again, I like to open it up because I am only here based upon all the great ones that came before me. So I don't ever want it to make it seem like this. We should never turn this into some sort of cult of personality and start to pick who knowledge is better than this one. That's not the kind of community that I came from. I came from the community that everybody in the diaspora had a way to express themselves and was able to be in a position for us to be able to exchange ideas without castigating each other and throwing each other under the bus. So the only thing that we got is each other, whether we realize it or not, whether we want to accept it or not. So I just want to always create a situation, an air of peace. Just let you know, Islam Noble. Also, honors and praise to Marcus Mosaic Garvey, as well as the Honorable Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Two people who changed my life drastically, who I didn't even know. But all of our ancestors, all of our people, they leave us something. And when we get into things like metaphysics or start to talk about things like metaphysics, I think one of the things that we tend to do, even within ourselves, is we start to get into something in some sort of modality of thought, and we get so deep into it that we almost get to ourselves and be like, nah, I ain't gonna talk about it. That ain't good. This ain't real. You know what I mean? This isn't gonna work. Am I just looking at it like this? Is everybody else seeing it like this? The problem is we are always taught to second guess ourselves and put ourselves in a secondary position because we live in a parasitic society. It's not parasitic because we are parasites. It's parasitic because we live amongst a group or groups of people who do not have the modality of creation. When we speak of creation, we tend to speak of things that are manifest. But everything that is manifest on the physical manifests somewhere in the non-physical. Yet we place so much emphasis on how we appear physically that we tend to overlook the fact that everything that we see around us started from something that was unseen. Yet even when it was unseen, it is seen. How can we say that? If everybody was to close their eyes right now, right? Close your eyes right now. Right? What do you see? What do y'all see? Exactly. Okay. So once we opened our eyes, where'd that blackness go? It's right here with y'all. It's manifested as flesh. And because we don't understand that, or we sometimes don't give a greater precedence to what we can contribute, right, as an individuum, not an individual, an individuum, which is Latin for the proper personification of self. When we speak of the individual, we're talking about how that is expressed through everybody else. But we can't be everybody else until we start with who we are. Therefore, what we call the arm, leg, arm, head, what some people call the physical body, is really just the manifestation of the vessel that we created somewhere else. We're actually somewhere else projecting what we would look like if we was physical on this plane right now. So when you start to gain consciousness and you start to raise your vibration, what begins to happen right away, I don't know if this happened to y'all, but it happens to me, people start stepping away from you. You notice that? People start getting to a point where when you come around, it's a bunch of talking. And then as soon as you come through, everybody stop talking. That ever happen? That happens to me all the time. So what I'm saying is, the question is, what are they talking about? Right. But when they say they're talking about you, who you are they talking about? The you that they are perceiving, the you that is evolving, the you that is becoming. You understand? There's what they call a threefold, in the so-called occult realm, there's what they call the threefold consciousness, or what they refer to as the photos of God. And what that means is that what we understand as consciousness is an ever-present, ever-growing thing that existed before what we could perceive as thinking. Somebody one day I was at a speaking engagement, and there was an atheist there, a so-called black atheist, whatever that is. So he came, and he basically said, well, God don't exist. And so I said, well, maybe he don't for you, or maybe it don't for you. I don't even like to put it in, a lot of times, in the context of a he or a she. That, again, is a divisive, materialistic, earthbound demiurge, which we'll get into in a minute, that keeps you from looking at the commonality that binds us all together. And so when he said that God don't exist, I said, well, maybe it doesn't for you. And he said, well, how could you prove that it exists? I said, well, how could you prove that you think? I said, prove a thought. Show me what your thought is. Can you do that? And then he said, well, no. Then I said, well, you should rethink that God thing, because everything else is starting to corrupt your brain. Because what has happened is that we've gotten to the point where we are starting to believe what the oppressor has been telling us. We are actually starting to believe it. You have black people, so-called black people. You have them actually believing. Think about what I'm saying. They actually believe the worst of themselves and the best of the person who has oppressed them. But when we say oppression, we're talking about a perception of control that only exists based upon the lack of knowledge of yourself. You're only in this position because you can't properly articulate how you got into the position. So what has happened is that the universal mind, whatever you want to call it, has actually to correct itself. That's one thing. In scientific journals and stuff, they talk about the self-corrective mind. And the self-corrective mind is the mind that whenever it sees something in balance, it is working to correct itself. And for some reason, it spirals in an octave to the right. So when we look in the universe and the constellation of planets and all this other stuff, everything is moving in a symmetry, spiraling closer to the right for whatever reason. What that means is we have manifested entities in our community, right, to investigate how we got into this position. Y'all have done this. You understand? Y'all have been so inundated with BS from the society that collectively something manifested between the late 70s, mid-80s, and then bloomed in the 90s that became what we are calling today the conscious community. Meaning that the people actually manifested people like myself to come and bring you back the information that you may not could go out and get yourself because you got to work every day, because you got children, because you got to deal with this cracker on your back, because you got to deal with all of this stuff. So it is not my position to assume that what I'm talking to you about, you don't know. All I am here to do is to help you remember what was dismembered in the process of us coming into the physical world, And so each one of us represent an aspect of that consciousness that allows us all to get a different aspect. So I could never be Phil Valentine. You understand? But he could never be me. I could never be Bobby Hemming. But he could never be me. But we can be together to show the consistency to the people that now all of us is caught up in divisiveness. Now all of us is going to bow down to the base nature of ourselves. Now all of us is going to get in a situation where we are quick to believe somebody else instead of our brother. So we all have to get, and sister, we have to get to a position where we start to get rid of all the distractions. What's a distraction? Say again. Name them. People, social media. What else? Entertainment, Trump, right? What else? Huh? Ego. There it is. The biggest distraction in the physical world is your ego. Because your ego is only dominant in the physical world. But the physical world is but a grain of sand in the beach of eternity. And all of us, right, have the ability to go to that beach, lay out, bask in the sun, go in the water, and do all of that. But what these people are creating is a homogenized system. And when I say these people, I'm not even talking about the crackers here. I'm not even getting to them. We got to deal with us. The problem is we give them way too much power. I got tired of going to lectures or going to watching DVDs and stuff like that, and the lecturer is just giving me so much information about how this cracker is beating me up that after the end, it was just like I felt pummeled. Like I just felt like, oh, well, there's no hope. That's it. Crackers got it all. They got the harp, they got the weather, they got the disease, they got the GMO, right? What else they got? They got the prostitution, they got the pedophilia, they got it all. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to stop that? How are we going to get into a position to allow ourselves the freedom just to ponder something? When is the last time you ever sat down and pondered reality? Right. Without having to, once you pondering it, get up and go to the bathroom, or answer the phone, or get the text, or make for work, or whatever. I mean, just literally sitting down somewhere, not doing nothing, and just pondering where you want to see your life to be. How many people have done that? That's great. All of us need to be doing that at least once a day, whether it be at the end of the day or the beginning of the day. Only because whenever you see images of people like the Pope or those people, you'll see the Pope just in the garden, just walking around or whatever, and then somebody run up to him and tell him something, and then he bounce, and then they bounce, and somebody else comes to him. That's because what they have done is, because they are not a part of physical reality the way we are, they had to inject themselves in that. Once they injected themselves in that, they had to become the physical archetype of what we are naturally. So the Garden of Eden, right, is really our physical body, which is also the temple of God, or the temple of the Most High, right? But the temple exists within the two hemispheres of the side of your face, right? But the physical temple that we call the physical world now has gone through such a drastic shift and change that we are not in the same octave that we were prior to maybe a year, maybe like the brother was saying, like maybe 2 years ago, we shifted into what they were referring to as the fourth dimension. You can verify this through, peace brother, you can verify this through so-called NASA, but they're not calling it a phase through the next dimension. They're referring to it as quantum entanglement. There are quantum entanglements. There are quantum redundancies. There are quantum realities. But anything that exists in quantum space, right, it can only exist. Anything that's in a quantum space can only exist in a positive space. So in a fourth dimension or in a quantum reality, only things that are real, meaning based on truth, can exist. So you see why they're trying to keep you low. You see why they're trying to keep you earthbound. You see why every record is about bringing you down to the floor. Because the higher you get in consciousness, the lower they get. The closer you get to the eternity that is waiting for us, the farther back in the annals of history they're going to go. The closer to the throne you get, the closer to the cave they get. You understand what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with you even being melanated. That's what the other G that they gave us. People say, I want to keep it moving because I know we got time or whatever, and I got a presentation, but I'm also going to move it. Moving on. Now, as you can see at the very top, right? The very, very top. What is that? That is the brain, the cerebellum, right? In the middle of that, what's that? That's the eye of Heru, right? On the other side of that is the brain. So now ask yourself this. How did your ancestors know what the inside of the brain was enough for them to create an amulet to wear on the outside of the body for protection? It says that Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. But when we say Allah, again, we have to get out of the religious aspect of that. Now, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody that is Muslim. That's not what I'm saying. That is your choice as a human being to engage in a form of worship if that's what you choose to do. All I'm saying is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and don't create a situation where you become a blind follower because man becomes the food for the divinity he worships. You understand? Whatever you are worshiping is feeding on you. So like me, I happen to be a Moor, politically a Moorish American, right? Noble Jew Ali is the founder, the divine ruler. But I do not worship Noble Jew Ali. Do you understand? There was never anything that I read that said that I was supposed to worship this person. What he did say was imitate me. What he did say was speak to those who know law. And if you speak in a mild-mannered tone, you will always receive a favorable reply. He also said, the European is your fellow man. You should always treat him nice. Now, if you don't know what the word fellow mean, if you don't know what the word nice mean, then you're going to think that he talking to you to basically be step and fetch it with them, right? No. He said the European is your fellow man. When you look up fellow in the old Oxford Dictionary prior to 1830, it says a fellow is basically something that is dead, a corporation. And then he said you must always treat him nice. Nice in that same dictionary means stupid. Think I'm lying? Look it up. So when they say, so now look at this, how many times has somebody said to you in your life, oh, that's nice. Oh, you look nice. Oh, you feel nice. Oh, that's nice. They calling you stupid. But that's how stupid we all are. You understand? Because none of us is above reproach. None of us is to the point where we don't have to learn nothing else. So when I started to ponder the whole science of how these people did that, I said, well, maybe there was a way that they had an internal meditation where they could go within and see within themselves. So I said, well, that Islam, Supernova Islam. It's my God, brother. I ain't seen him in a long time. Islam. Thanks for coming, King. What I started to understand was that everything that manifests as a physical reality comes from an alternate reality, something that is non-physical. There's nothing that you have done that hasn't come from a thought first. Therefore, thought comes first. But then what is thought? Thought itself is the manifestation of what we perceive as the higher self, which what some people call God, some people call Allah, some people call Jehovah, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to get into all of that. Because again, we're beyond the stages of trying to be converted to something, okay? We all should be to a point now where we should be clearly open to understanding that we still have a lot to understand. And this is what I mean about ego. Ego has it to the point that it is there for your physical preservation. Everything that is physical has an ego. If you have a fly and you try to swat the fly, when the fly moves, that's the ego telling the fly to move. Because it's there for self-preservation. It's there to hold you down and give you a sense of the present dangers that may exist around you. But what has happened in the so-called European world that, again, is based on ego, and when I say European, I'm not even talking about Caucasian people, because them people that they call in European only started to be called European after the 1800s. When we talk about the Europeans that came over here back in the days or whatever, stop giving credit to these crackers. It was not them. They were brought over here by people who looked just like you, who was enslaving them. The same way they tried to enslave us. And what they did was left them people there to run the store, and they went back home And then the people running the store started to get us to start to pay into their store. And then the next thing you know, Negro, black, colored, here you go. But what are those? Those are labels based on ego. It was about reducing the self to the point where you would not even know how to preserve yourself, not even know how to protect yourself. All of the science, all of the stories you done read and heard about lynchings and all of that. How come you don't never hear stories about the people that went after the crackers and lynched them? Y'all don't hear them stories, right? The only one they tell you is who? Nat Turner, right? They give you a movie, Birth of a Nation, and they show you the whole movie you getting beat up, and then right at the end, you now gonna fight back when the movie over. That's an allegory for your life. That's how they see you. They see you as being perpetually put into a situation of constant regression, of constant apathy, of constant deprivation. So that way they don't have to oppress you. You oppress yourself. We oppress ourselves metaphysically every day. Every time that you are talking to somebody and somebody says something that goes against your basic sensibilities and you don't say nothing, you have put yourself under that person's jurisdiction. You have to understand, saying yes to one instance of evil is saying yes to it all. The ancestors don't make a delineation. Oh, he only into Moors, so everybody that call themselves Africans, they not gonna look out for him on the astral plane. They don't do that. If you leave a bowl of fruit out for them in the altar, they coming through. They don't give a damn what color you are. You understand? I had a situation, again, speaking metaphysically, I had a situation where I had what's called a grand altar in my house. And I had it all on there. I had the pictures of space. I had the ancestors. I had the statues. I had the oils, the lotions. I had it all. You understand? To the point it took up the whole wall, right? And one day, something happened, and it wasn't what I thought was going to happen based upon all the energy I put into this altar. And after that, other things started happening to unravel certain things that I was trying to make happen. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, what is wrong? Like, what is happening? I'm giving the fruit, I'm giving it this, I'm giving it that, right? And then it got to a point where something really bad happened. And now it kind of shook, like, my faith a little bit because it was tied to the conscious community. Somebody was really cool or whatever, turned out, really said some wild stuff about me that was not true or whatever, and it was almost violent. You understand? This is a person I fed in my house. You understand? This is a person who was really cool with me, long story short. So then one day, after all of that went down, I squashed it. We settled it on Superhero Radio. I called in all of the ancestors on it, explained the whole thing, and for those people that remember, ain't never been nothing from that since Islam. But right before that, I went and I was sitting in front of the altar and I started to get mad. Not mad at the fact that nothing was manifested, mad at the fact of the energy that I was given to so much of the unseen world and not feeling like I was receiving the return. That's the ego. You see what I'm saying? But then I realized it at the same time, but wait. All of these things that I'm given is a manifestation of me. These Osar and Set and Anubis and Zarabanda and all of these things are really just manifestations of me. You understand what I'm saying? If we always existed and we exist in the mind of what we perceive to be the ultimate creator or whatever, that means how you know we're not in that Big Bang creation thought right now? How you know you're not in it? You can't even measure how that thought works. So then I realized, well, if that's the case, and if these manifestations are all manifestations of me, and I'm giving them all the energy, you understand? Then what is happening, I'm not feeling a reciprocation. And then something said to me, well, maybe that's because you on that level already. Maybe we are our ancestors' return. And if so, what you're doing to some degree, and I'm only talking about me. Don't, we take things personal. I'm only talking about me. To some degree, it may be somewhat masturbatorial to constantly give energy to something that is really coming from yourself. So I said, you know what? I've been doing all of this time, burning these incense, burning these candles, all that. You know what? I'm taking all of this down. I took it all down. Took it all down. You know what? The candles, the this, the that, put it in the box, put it away. None of this stuff is I'm not going to put it back up until I see something manifest from it. You know what happened? Stuff started manifesting from it. The next day, I got a call with somebody. They wanted me to come out to do a speaking engagement, and it was awesome. You know what I'm saying? The next day. So that's when I realized, well, we are our ancestors manifesting every day through us. That's why we can, you notice nowadays on the memes, they'll show you like a picture of Wesley Snipes, and they'll show you like an old ancient dude from back in the day, look exactly like him. That didn't exist before us. We brought that into consciousness. Right through this. Because, what does it say? The photo micrograph shows the X chromosome at the left alongside the shrunken Y chromosome, blah, blah, blah. Scientists say an African-American male's odd genetic signature suggests that the human Y chromosome's lineage goes back further in time than they thought. Perhaps due to the interbreeding with other populations such as Neanderthals. You melanated people are the only people that are not Neanderthal genetically based. And that's why they don't like you. You understand what I'm saying? You are what they refer to as a first-round human in certain circles. You are what is called the praetor human, what people like Crowley and them refer to as the praetor human, Praetor. This is where you get the Roman word Praetorian from. And you know the Praetorians were the guys in Gladiator with Russell Crowe and all that. Again, the Moors, the ones with the big helmets, the ones that have the helmets with the top, like the Roman when you see Caesar in them. You'll find the same Roman headdress on the high priest in Tibet. How'd that happen? Look it up. Because you have the same people taking one culture because they are one haplogroup and spreading that all over the world simultaneously. Because remember, you was here when the world was one landmass. You was here before there was a sun. You was here before there was what we perceive as night and day. But we have been so inundated with European history that we don't understand that our history exists in the mind. Your ancestors left the stones for you right now. We could leave right here and I could take you to Prospect Park and show you the pyramid. That's in the park. But the white man call it a hill. And you believe it. You understand what I'm saying? You believe it. Why? Because this really upsets a lot of ideas, but at the same time, it's understandable if we aspect populations were structured in the past so that they were little pockets of diversity. So if there were little pockets of diversity, that means then that everybody was what? No, listen, guys, what I'm saying. Look, they're saying that the Neanderthals population, that happened with the interbreeding, right? But it says, boom, boom, boom. If we accept that human populations were structured in the past so that there were little pockets of diversity. We were separated. We did not live with the cave people. Do you understand? We didn't do that. That's why when they say there were little pockets of diversity, what that means is that everybody on the planet was one people. And that the only other people that existed were these things that basically manifested out of what they want to perceive or call evolution. But evolution was a concept that was proven fallible, because that was what they needed to create what they perceive or what we perceive as Western civilization. Because Western civilization is about the reconstruction of the melanated mind. and creating an apathetic nature among the masses that's melanated to create a perpetual slave culture. The study focuses on the analysis of DNA sample obtained from an African American living in Ware, South Carolina, and submitted to the Genographic Project. The National Geographic effort aimed at mapping the human origins of migration. The funny thing about the sample is that it did not match up with any previously known genetic signatures for the Y chromosome, which is passed down from who? From the father to the son. So what does that mean? That means that the DNA that this person had from South Carolina was actually a type of DNA that was unique among all the other so-called races' DNA. That it was specifically a patrilineal energy that was passed from the father to the son. So how do we stop that? We get rid of the father. You understand? It's simple. It's like A plus B equals C. Let's go on further. Where it says, yes, nobody expected to find anything like this. See the cracker always talking about what he don't expect. The team led by Fernando Mendez. Now that's a ritual right there. Anybody ever heard of the Mendez or the Mendes goat? Those that's into that Freemason stuff and all of that? Riding that goat Roger? So this dude Mendes is the manifestation of that. You understand? As a researcher in Hammer's lab, analyzed more than 240,000 DNA base pairs on the African American's Y chromosome. The comparison of the differences between the mystery genetic signature and the previously known signatures led the team to conclude that the most recent common ancestor for the entire group lived about 338,000 years ago. This is a regular brother from South Carolina, man. This ain't Lucy, right? They call it Islam. This ain't Lucy, the so-called monkey woman that they got everybody thinking everybody came from this monkey. No, that's not how it went down. That's not how it happened, man. When you understand, they said within that, 240,000. So that goes to 338,000 years ago. So that means that they can trace the lineage back from father to son 38, say that again, 338,000 years into the remote past. And you say that you don't know who you are? How can you not? How can you not know who you are when they can't even? So that means then that the genetics of humanity, us, humanity, Humanity, we are the basis of what human thought, creation, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality is. Manifest, right? Let's go further. The fossil record speaks to 195,000 years or 200,000 years, he said. It also goes further back than the previous date for the most recent common ancestor based on Y chromosome analysis, which is in the range of 142,000 years. So look at that. We got 338,000, 240,000, 195,000, 200,000, 142,000. So add all that up. I mean, you ain't got to do it now, but I'm saying you can add it up, and the number you get, when you add that up, thank you, Mo. When you add that up, hit that by 7, and then times that by 7, and then times that by 7, and you will get to the point of where you are, or who we are. So you mean to tell me that these people know this, but they don't know that you are direct descendant from that? When these people just went to some brother that was just out there in South Carolina and say, hey, come and take this genetic test. So ask yourself this. If you have been here, let's say for over, I'm gonna be thing. I'm gonna take it back and say that we've been here, let's say for 1 million years. Let's say that, right? How then is people on Ancestry.com giving you a breakdown of who you are when they don't even have the DNA equipment to do that? How many people know why I stopped telling people to deal with 23andMe and all of that was because something happened a little while ago. I got it. Also, if you notice on a lot of interviews and stuff now, I don't give the names of books and stuff like that. You know, I do that for the individual classes and stuff like that because I got tired of making these people money. I would talk about books, and then people would hit me up trying to get the books. The books is now went from like $10, now the book like $2,000. This word bond. I went and talked about this book that was done by a dude named Ogilvy that basically gets into America, right? Because I had little pages I was able to glean from it back in the days. Do you know that they selling that book for $500,000 now? Yeah, I'm gonna put it on. Hold it. So, all of that is to say, the results are more consistent with the integration of the odd lineage. The odd lineage. Hammer told NBC, and it's funny, it's NBC, like Negro back colored. NBC News, over the past few years, scientists have been coming around to the view that such interbreeding did take place early in the history of our species. The recent analysis of Neanderthal and Denisovian DNA, where am I at? Has indicated, there you go, read it. Y'all can read it. Class participation, let's do it. I don't got my glasses, so. So, long story short, y'all, what I'm trying to say is she said one of the biggest debates in the study of human genetics has to do with how much time mutation rates with time scales, and she expects that this study to add for the debate. The example might continue to argue that the most recent common ancestor lived more recently than 338 years and will still be the oldest Y chromosome heritage that we have, but I can foresee some people might disagree with this specific age. Of course they will, because anything that puts you in an ancient antiquatal space that is outside the context of a perpetual slave class is a problem for them. You understand? So what that means then is that we, so-called black people, so-called melanated people, whatever you want to call carbon-based people, let's say that. We as carbon-based people are the proto-human, meaning that we are the pre-human. When they talk about the pre-Adamite and all of this, you got to understand, the physical size we are right now is the basis, but at one point, we was the size of these buildings. We was even taller than that. One occult book that I read by, what was this guy's name? One of John Dee's books. Anybody don't know who John Dee is? John Dee was the sorcerer employed by Queen Elizabeth during the reign of the Moroccan dynasty around that time. And he was the one, his code name was 007, if y'all didn't know. And he was the one that basically was the first creator of what they now today call statecraft. Everybody know what statecraft is, right? Anytime you put craft in something, you're dealing with tricks. So if it's witchcraft, statecraft, whatever craft, they crafting it. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that they switching it up on you. So in that, John Dee found that he was able to take some of the mysticism that he was learning from the Moors, right? From places like Salamanca, places like Malaga, places like over here, what they now today call Arizona, the Grand Canyon, all them places. We did not have a delineation point, imaginary boundary lines, or wherever we was going to be at, you knew we was at because it was either a mound, a pyramid, or something like that. So we would go this way, and the pyramids was pyramidion, like, oh, that's where these Moors live. And then we would go see the mounds like that, oh, that's where those Moors live. You understand? So we all understood that. We also use those things like airports. We would do circle, what they have in the old Pelagian dynasty that they refer to now as the Byzantine dynasty, used to have what they call Byzantine conduits. If you ever seen the movie Hellboy, the first one, there's a scene where they are in the forest, or in the Alps or whatever in the thing, and they find the thing, they come into this maze place, and then they kill the guy, and then his blood goes all around in the conduit, and then from there in the middle, the dude who he was playing, Rasputin, then comes out physically made. That's what's called transconfiguration. When you can actually duplicate duplicate your consciousness from a clot of blood. That's what it says in the Quran, right? It says that man was created from the clot, right? Because the clot, the blood, is the manifestation of what they call the sanguine. The sanguine, or the sangriel, is the song of the real, or what they call the song of Israel, meaning the eternal creation song that is inside of all of us that we hear. That's that voice. That's that little thing in you that's always urging you to the right. You see what I'm saying? Always urging you to do better. But sometimes we get to a stage where we got to mute that voice because, as they say, I'm going to come to God on Sunday, but right now I got to get this money. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mentality a lot of us have because we get so bogged down in believing that these things are real. This physical thing is real. These taxes are real. This mortgage is real. You understand? This trial is real. And it's not. It's not. It's real because we give it reality, which is why they call it Israel or Israel. When they talk about the lost tribes of Israel and all that, and you have this whole debate now with the Hebrews and stuff like that, how does any of that interplay with what we just learned by facts, by genetic facts? Because the Hebrew people that they talk about existed in the time that all of this energy and genetic power existed, right? So in that, when we speak of each other in different sects or different regions, right, we tend to deal in tribalism and clanism. That's just how we are as a people. That's how we manifested it. When I speak of the Moorish Empire, I'm not speaking of like it was one Moor and then this Moor told all other Moors what to do. That's not how it worked. How it worked was we all had dynasties, kingdoms, dominions, and empires. That's what you come from. So whether you call yourself a Moor or not makes no difference, because at the time that Selassie and these people, or the ancient Ethiopians, or the ancient Etruscans, or the ancient Carthaginians, or the ancient Phoenicians, or the ancient Elamites, or the ancient Moabites, I'm talking about the same people. I'm not talking about no Caucasian people. So I got to be talking about us, because we was the only people there. So if there was problems with each other, we had problems with each other. So when it came down to it, what started to happen was that there was a group of us, regardless of what you want to say, there's always going to be an aspect of our populace that's just going to be disagreeable. That's just who they are. Indeed. We call them that because some of them get to that level where they start really selling out. But then you just got some that don't even know, or even worse, the ones that's just, they just negative. You ever know somebody that when as soon as you say I'm getting ready to do something, oh nigga, you ain't gonna do that. That's it. That's it. That's it. That person back in the ancient times would be referred to as Hebrew. Why? Because he is crossed over. Hebrew means to cross over or to be crossed. Look it up. Look it up. Why you think they was lost? Think about what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to diss Hebrews. That's not what I'm doing. Because most Hebrews today is actually Christians. I don't know how they doing that, but whatever. But what I'm saying is they were disagreeable. And there's always going to be a section of our people that's disagreeable with the rest of the populace. That's just how it always is. And this is before the so-called white man came on the scene. You understand? These people were so disagreeable that the rest of us started to basically marginalize them. Didn't it say that in the stories that you read about the Hebrews, that they lived in where? They lived in Egypt, right? Amongst the Egyptians. But they was a different class, right? And then they got to the point where they caught a lot of trouble, and then they bounced. And they allegedly wandered for 40 years going to a place that took 4 days to get to. Read the Bible, that's what it say. Said that they dwelled in the land of Midian. And then before the land of Midian today will be what they Moors refer to as Havilah, what we today, what the Romans call Felix, Arabia Felix, what we today call Arabia, or the Middle East. And then from there, what happened? They went to another kingdom that was already popping. We already had our stuff right, the Canaanites. Remember them? But what we don't understand in terms of the historical context is that what we perceive as the Canaanites or the ancient Phoenicians or the Carthaginians, these are the pre-dynastic Egyptians. Islam, and they still that, because they were from where? Tamaray, right? So why are we creating these imaginary boundaries in our minds for people that we allegedly claim to be from? Thank you. You see what I'm saying, Morse? So peep this. Scientifically, the black woman is the only organism that possesses the mitochondrial DNA that has the variations possible for every different kind of human being on this earth. African, albino, the European, the Middle Eastern. When the DNA of the black woman mutates, all other types of human beings come about. You can research this topic. Is true because it's called the Eve gene. So think about that. Think about what that means for you, let's say as a female, right, of the feminine nature. With that much power, with that much creative power in you, it's not a wonder you haven't killed all of us. Real talk. Real talk, man. Could you imagine as a man? Imagine you as a man being able to actually physically create something. You do, we do, but I mean actually on some, carrying the baby. You can't even think about that because that's so outside of our nature that it's foreign to me to even try to equate that. But for the Neanderthal, it's no problem. He done made movies about it, Junior, right? They cloning you. They got all types of stuff because they not based on that. Their genetics is not based on it. They are based on what? A mutation. A mutation. So what are they doing to the so-called carbonated woman now? They bombarding her with constant thoughts of, instead of humanity, mutanity. They're constantly getting her to think about creating things that are not about creating a reflection of herself. They are creating a situation where she actually hates herself and hates her baby to the point where she does not want to have and create things or babies or personages or gods or goddesses that resemble her. You have black women who have convinced themselves the only way that they could have a certain type of baby is to be with a Caucasian man. When I just read to you that she can create what type of baby she wants. There's an old thing. My eldest son's mom was Jamaican. And one day she had told me a story. One of her siblings or her had a birthmark. And I asked her, how that birth, where did you get was that a birthmark? Was it a scar or burn? She said, no, I did that on purpose. I said, what you talking about? She said, one day the father, my husband didn't want to get me such and such and such. So I just put my hand on the baby and said, watch, I'm going to give him a birthmark just because you ain't going to do it. And the baby was born with the birthmark right here. So I'm looking at her like, wow, you did that for some jerk chicken? Like, that's horrible. In my mind. You know what I'm saying? In my mind. But at the same time, but see, this is what I mean, ego. That was a sign for me. That's Allah telling me, the apple don't fall far from the tree, I should have peeped it. You know what I'm saying? But the ego, right? But the ego said, no, you love her. You've been together for a long time, right? Everybody's a genius in hindsight, The molecular evolution of a haplogroup from the Greek haplos, one-fold, is a group similar to the haplotypes which share the common ancestor having one single nucleotide polymorphism, mutation in all the haplotypes. Because of a haplogroup consists of a similar haplotypes, it is possible to predict a haplogroup from the haplotypes. This is how they know how to get you. Because they mapped your DNA, remember? They created a genome. But you know what a genome is? A clone. That's another name for a clone. So they can't deal with your DNA, so they got to create another DNA. They have what they call algorithms now that are tabulating everything that you do online. And what they're doing is creating physical representations, like how they had Tupac at Coachella. They have holographic projections in reality aspects of you that exist in an alternate little base that they run out of the place in Oslo they call the Nexus. You have duplicated copies of you. You have, each one of y'all in here got a file under the FBI building that's about 2 miles long with your whole family. But you don't know. Why? Because the only way that they can control this reality is by controlling who created the reality. You understand? If I make them believe that God is dead, then I become the God of the dead. You understand? It's give and take. When we speak of the occult, we're speaking of that which is hidden. But that which is hidden is actually in plain sight. So in that, you know, we could go all the way up. I'll tell you when to stop. You can keep going. You keep going. Okay, right here. Right? You have the arm, leg, arm, head. That's what it looked like in Hebrew. Right? But when we say Hebrew, actually what we're really saying is Canaanite or Moabite. Because everything the Hebrews got, they got from the Canaanites, who were the Moors. Sorry, y'all. It's the truth. The people who used to run the Hebrew tribes, they were called the Pahath Moab. Look it up. P-H-P-A-H-A-T-H. Moab. The Pahath Moab are where we get the word Pasha from. They were the original Pashas of the Hebrews, meaning that we were the ones that chose who was going to be the head of each tribe because they couldn't choose it for themselves because they was too busy out here worshiping idols and causing confusion with each other. That's why we call them the lost tribes. It's the truth. So I'm not talking about a biblical situation. I'm talking about the birth and the migration of people and nations. But I'm talking about the same people. The same way right now, we all in here deep. Right? So this means that we are in unit. But as soon as we go out into the world, we can get lost in Asia. Why? Because everybody out there, right, is vicariously living their higher selves through you. Right now, us all being here together, each one of us is a spiral. So that spiral is being manifested magnetically from each one of us. So imagine now if we was to look and see a spiral going from each one of us going out. We keeping people alive just by sitting in here. You understand? The truth tastes good to a belly full of lies. You know what I'm saying? So in that, when we speak of the arm, leg, arm, head, and the manifestation of the, of the Yad Ha-Wad-Ha, right, which is the arm, leg, arm, head, that is now manifested in what we refer to then as the Ankh. But the Ankh in the physical body is referred to as the circle or the eye of Willis. Look it up. If anybody got a phone, just look up the circle of Willis or eye of Willis. You see exactly what I'm talking about. That eye of Willis is the conduit that allows you to move back and forth through dimensions because it regulates how the melanin translates through all the other aspects of the body. I got a book called Dark Plasma out there from back in the days. I met when I first started getting into the melanin thing, and found out that in Switzerland they was having a conference every year that's been going on since the late 60s on melanin and what they could do with it, and there's no black people at this conference. But they create reports for it and everything every year. So I got one of the books, I got one of the reports, because the dude felt bad, white guy felt bad, and then he was like, well, what could I do? I said, well, send me all the books so I could give it to the Moors and we could all get right. And he did. Because it don't make no sense if I just got it, how I just got it, and I'm not sharing it with you. Because then that means what? I'm now the target because I'm the only one with it. But if we all got it, if we all the leaders, that means you're going to have to get rid of all of us. And they can't do that. They've been trying that since when? For as long as you can remember. Islam. So then in that, when we get into what we are as Moors now, that is, carbonated beings, that's the El-Hayam, right? Or the El-Hayam is the El-Hohim. It's the same thing. Yam meaning sea, Hay meaning the or the, and Il meaning God. In that, we see that the pineal organ, right in there, is the manifestation exists in the basis of the brain, which helps the medulla oblongata. Big up to the God medulla oblongata rap CD out there. That is the manifestation of what they call the meme. The meme is the base aspect of melanin that secretes out of the medulla every night, every day. So you're reborn every day, you're replenished every day. Now imagine if you were calcified, you had a calcified pineal gland. What is spewing out of that is nothing but bile and pus. And you understand these people don't have that. These people can't even eat food with color in it without drinking alcohol because their body does not produce bilirubin at a sustainable rate. So they have to get the alcohol to create a synthetic bilirubin to allow themselves to intake the food with the color. And they really can't take no seasonings because of that as well. Because the bilirubin is what absorbs the spices into the blood and turns it into a nutrient. Say again? Damn. Okay. Okay, so in that, Islam. Yeah, please no audio recording. Islam. We gotta respect each other, man. Let's respect the brothers. They went through a lot to get us in here. So let's just keep it real. Because if it pops up on the internet anywhere or whatever, and it's not from them, the more's gonna see you. Let's go up. Real talk. Can we go up more? Thank you. There we go. Okay, boom. Let's go right here. Oh, yeah, that's dope. Actually, that's cool. You can see that. Actually, you know what? We kind of built on that. Can you go up so I can see this part? Yeah, here we go. This right here, who that? No, that's the god El. That's the Canaanite god El that they base Osar on. And what is he doing? He got 5 on the left, 2 on the right? So that means we've been doing that for over however many million, thousands of years, whatever. That's a known thing. That was like the first, that's like the first GD sign. Like we just throwing it up, right? Then here go, this is Daf. All of what we see as the so-called Sephiroths, right, on the tree of life, that's broken between the Atziluth, Braya, and the Malkuth, the threefold reality. The biggest and the most excellent aspect of that is Daf. That exists in the solar plexus because that is the manifestation of the all, the part of you that existed before you was physical, right? But also, this is where we get the term Darth or Darth Vader from. You understand? This is where we get the term dark from. Anything D-A-R, DARPA, right? This is where we get all of that from. Also, what they're not telling us is that each one of those Sephiroths basically represent the flow of how melanin actualizes into the world. Those are melanin molecules on there. That is a diagram of how everything manifests from the unseen plane to the seen plane and how melanin conduits itself to do that. You don't actually have to be on beat ever because you're automatically on it. You understand what I'm saying? You're automatically on a beat, and that beat is the heartbeat of creation that is constantly going, that we are constantly tied and connected into, right? Let's go up. Just sanguineous is the law of the bloodline, the concept of the Holy Roman Emperor, civil law, blah, blah, blah. Nationals of the United States who are not citizens are entitled to consular protection, blah, 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 blah. But I put that up there because the concept that we as original people deal with is what's called just sanguineous. This is the ancient law of the blood indeed. This is taking you back now where I can go and get a picture of an Olmec head, certified copy of that from the actual museum. And because I already did a declaration of who I am, affidavit of genetic heritage, I apply that as a certification of the fact that I'm here because that is not a stone sculpture. That's a real head that became calcified because that's what happens when you leave carbon in the air, in the elements. What if all of those statues was actually people? Look up what a fossil is. Anything that is fossilized or calcified becomes full of stone. But anything that is calcified had to be alive first. So in that, brothers and sisters, when we talk about melanin now, this is a melanocyte. This is the hand, what they call the hand of God, that is manifested on each one of us. And each one of those hands connect together to create the richness of your skin that is so microscopic you can't see it. So you know what they did for the people that don't have it? We created amulets like the Hamza and the hand of Fatima to manifest that so they could wear it as an amulet of spiritual protection. So what I'm saying is that the thing that actually makes you black is the hand of God itself that is combined like this, or like a shaking hand. And when you microscopically look at all of them to the deepest degree, that's how I look. And so for those people, so because we so benevolent and we want to get people so right, because they didn't come up like we did, they are children, so we want to look out. So we create little amulets for them that they could just wear. And you know what they did? Create a whole religion out of it. And then we saying like, okay, Judaism, that's you. Then it's like, okay, Muslim, that's you. Then it's like, okay, Hinduism, that's you. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, we are the gods of all of those systems. It's true. You are your ancestor return. The reason why you don't think so is because your ego is in the way. It tells you that you are not great. It tells you that you're not humble. It tells you all of the stuff that's negative about you based upon how you were nurtured. Because you were not nurtured the way you were supposed to be. Even those of us that had beautiful, loving parents and all of that, they could do all of that. But once you went out into the world, what happened? You still got to deal with all of that, right? So again, we are all born into this slave colony we call an earth now. But at the same time, we have the keys to the jail. This the key right here. So when you see so-called melanated people bleaching themselves, when you see melanated people cutting their hair off and putting other type of hair on themselves, when you see melanated people trying to procreate with so many other people instead of themselves, we got to stop looking at that as a negative thing. They actually saving you and I time, because what they're doing is they're taking their disagreeableness and bringing that to a disagreeable cipher. So all of us that agree, we're now preserved because we don't have that with us no more. So each one qualifies its own self or disqualifies its own self based upon the lack or the intense understanding of knowledge. When you look at the Mississippi River, it flows in the same direction as your spine. Look it up. When we talk about the Fibonacci sequences, remember I was talking to you about the eternal spiral? That is the cheat code. This is the sign to show you that there is a benevolent intelligence behind all of this. But instead of you thinking it's some old white man in the clouds with a beard with Santa Claus making things happen, it's not like that. It's us on a higher dimension throwing stuff down to us in this dimension to raise up. Because they can't get, if right now, if you was walking down the street and you seen an ant and you was about to walk and you heard the ant say, "Don't step on me," you would be like, "Oh," right? You would what? You would try to preserve the ant, right? So I'm saying it's the same, that's an allegory to where we are as people. We are the giants. We are literally giants in this realm. That's why the pigs are so scared of you. When they come through like that, when they see you, they see all of you. You understand? When they see a baby, they see a little Asiatic boy, what they are seeing is the negation of themselves. They're seeing their extinction. Our children represent the future of our race. That means if those children get raised up to the level of God again, you know what happens? Back to the cave for them. That's all they got. All they have is this physical reality. You only here for a second. You about to go back to your real place. And like remember this like a dream. Let's go up more. Thank you, brother. Islam. Here we go. Look, you got a Moor, a Turk, and an Indian. So if this is what the Turks look like at the height of the Ottoman Empire, who are these people, these white people that's in there now? Right. You understand the people in Turkey only started wearing the fez in the 1900s. And they imported them fezzes from Tunisia and Morocco. The fez was a symbol from pre-antediluvian times of the rulers. The turban was the same thing. The turban represents the flower. The fez represents the womb. But when you wear the fez and the turban together, like what the brother has on, then what you're dealing with is the X and the Y chromosome in one. What they call the perfect man. Because you are working to balance both sides of yourself. So it's the same thing now. When we talk about the bays and the ills, we're actually talking about a super hyperphysical, metaphysical concept or metaphysical people. Because it says in the Bible, it talks about it as the Beit Il, the house of God, the ancient place and seat of worship in Ephraim on the border of Benjamin, identified with Luz, the former name. Samuel 13:2, right? Then it goes, Samuel chose him 3,000 men of Israel, whereof 2,000 were with Saul and Michmash and in Mount Beit Il. So again, we're talking about a two-clan moiety of 7 clans in total. The Bays, the Ils, the Als, the Alis, the Pashas, the Allahs, and the Days. Let's go up. So what this basically says is that we have the right, the title nobility that we have supersedes all cultures, all religions. There's no place that you can go. Those of us that travel outside the world, when they find out you from America, they kind of trepidatious on you until you open your mouth. And then when you start kicking the real game, they start to feel more comfortable to share the secrets with you. Because this is why the Caucasians market you as a Negro outside of everything, because they're going to keep you based on your ego. And the Negro and the ego is the same thing. You understand? Because the Negro is he who only grows to the knee. Somebody that's constantly broke down. You understand? Not upright. So in that, we can go up more. Anybody can get a copy of the Geneva Bible. You definitely want to get that because all they do is talk about Moors in that. How much? See? Islam Moors. See? On it. That's right. That's right. Right there. $4,000. You understand? For a book. Can you go up? All to keep it from you. And you see it's Exodus 3:14. 3:14, that's the symbol for pi. That's the number for pi if you don't know. Okay, boom. So when we talk about the 5-pointed star, that's the star of Venus, but that's also connected to Ptah. In ancient Egypt, Ptah, like Pahath, Ptah was and is the cosmic architect, cosmic shaping force, the giver of the form, the smith. Smith is not a Caucasian name. Smith is actually a Chattagee name, what they call Cherokee. There was the Cherokee. So if you were Stephen Smith Bey, you would be Stephen of the Smith Cherokees of the Moorish clan of Bey. That's how they worked together. But what the Caucasian did was came and he took the title nobility off, adopted your name, and then put you in slavery somewhere else and then adopted your estate. Easy. Easy. They do that every day in housing court. Let's go up. But look. Capricorn, actually, bring it back down a little. So when we draw it out, whenever you draw the join out, you want to draw it from Gemini to Capricorn, from Capricorn to Leo, from Leo to Aries, from Aries, to Scorpio, and from Scorpio back to Gemini. So these are the cardinal signs. Whenever you see the Pope and he there with them red dudes with the red hats, you know what they call them? The Cardinals. But you know what their real name is? The Moors. They're called Moors. M-A-U-R-S. Okay. They just told me we got to take a break. So I guess we'll do that and then reconvene. How long is the break? Anybody? I don't know. The organizers ain't in the room, so. Islam. Okay, I'm going to go until you get rich. So, we can go up a little bit more. Hold up, y'all. Okay, Islam. Islam. A long time ago, you already know talking about the Anunnakis and all. Y'all heard all of that. Zechariah Sitchin, y'all heard all of that. But what I'm trying to tell you, see them heads right there? Those is fossilized heads, which means the bodies go all the way down into the ground. But they told you that those are sculptures. Somebody went and sculpted that. You ever see the smoothness on them Olmec heads? Now look at that, and then look at some of these statues they got out here. It's totally different. But again, the evidence of your empire is all around you. But if you don't got the eyes to see it, you're done. This basically just gets into the fact of what when the Nation of Islam referred to and talked about the Yaqub thing and the tribe of Shabazz and all of that, for those people that don't know that story. That, again, is a pre-Diluvian story that was told orally for generations. It manifested down to us now as the Yaqub situation. But essentially, it's the science of how the ego manifested into reality and how the mutations became the custodians of that reality. And we'll get into that after we come back from the break. Hold on a second.
Give him a hand, family. Give him a hand. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Give him a hand. All right. So that's the first presenter for today. We're going to take a 20-minute break. Relax, enjoy yourself, go shop around with the vendors. I see I got a lot of material in the hallway. Panic. We'll be back in 20 minutes.
Give Brother Rich another well-deserved round of applause, man. Come on, Black Magic 363. Brother Panic's auntie is in the building.
Shout out Brother Panic's sister and his aunt in the building. Give them to we have, just keep in mind, family, we have an overwhelming turnout today, which is a good thing. We look forward to getting bigger and better venues. This is a college, they have state-of-the-art technology, that's why we chose it. Let's just try to work with each other today. And we're gonna try to do better and better. Hopefully next time we could get, you know, Jacob Javits or something like that. We're gonna talk to that sister as well, yeah. Okay, so, y'all ready for Brother Panic? Yo.
Give my better mic.
I know y'all like Brother Panic's outfit. Yo, but I'm gonna tell you one of the things, what made me choose this lineup and call these gentlemen, number one, these three gentlemen have integrity. That's number one, of course. And number two, I like the way all three of them talk about their queens. Y'all notice that? I don't know if Isaiah can hear me, but shout out to Selena. Selena, Isaiah's queen, been holding him down for years.
Yep.
Ever since I met the brother.
Yep.
Shout out to Khadijah. Hold the Brother Panic down for years. Shout out to Dr. Nalani, holding down Dr. Valentine for years. We gotta make it cool to be in relationships and to be in love with our queens. For some reason, we got shit twisted and messed up along the way. So these three gentlemen, they represent that. They represent that balance. And that's why they are successful at what they do. So with no further ado, Brother Panic.
Yeah. Peace. All right. I'm glad Simon is here. This is the new dark side. The dark side is that which was hidden to us. We in the light now, dog. Out of darkness comes light. That's why the light. Let's give a roaring round of applause for Brother Rich. Roaring. Let's do it again. Keep the tears. Keep it going. Dr. Bill Valentine. It ain't no Listen, Rich is a good-hearted brother. When I was here in November, my sciatic nerve was fucking up. Ooh, that ass pain was freaking good. Let me tell you how good Rich is. He gave me an ass cushion. A scientific ass cushion that was so magical. I walked around Atlanta with this shit like Linus. I didn't even need this shit no more. I was like, where's my cushion? I didn't even get an update, a new one. The Rich ass cushion. Good heart. All right, so we're gonna get right to it. I'm here to talk about this new phenomenon.
Understand. See, when you say simulation, you guys have been playing video games. You had your computer since Windows 95. Some of you late niggas, Windows 98. Some of you broken niggas, Windows 2000. You had it this long so you could get familiar with a world that you're in. So when they had to break this news about this matrix breaking down, you'll have a way to grasp it. This is and I'm getting right to this. We ain't gonna be no jokes. I'm getting right to it. 2 hours? Shit, that's warm. So I'm gonna get right to it. We have a lot of brothers speaking and teaching. So I'm gonna get right to it. So they're giving this to you now because of what you have been doing as a conscious person all this time. What do you think is going to happen when all of these minds, not how much you know, but how much you want to know, starts happening? Who do you think is the true supercomputer? Your divine mind. That's what all this shit and simulation shit is based upon. Your mind. This entire reality is based upon your mind. Worlds to come and worlds you don't understand is your mind. So any simulation that they're trying to tell you about is still your mind. They just have to convince it and present it to you in a way where it looks like somebody else is doing it. That was the skill. There are two types of people that they're dealing with. There's believers, and then there's intellectuals. So for the believers, Jesus, he did it. It's all good. Jesus is testing. Jesus put dinosaur bones here so just to see if you have it. The other side, the intellects, they have, what's that? Like Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson. So he could intellectually satisfy you with why you exist, how you exist. That lineage is evolution. You're from evolution, you evolve, this is all random. What this does psychologically, is it makes you believe you're worthless. You have no cause, no purpose. So there's a phenomenon that I thought was poppycock called the Mandela effect.
Panic. Try to keep the mic up.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
Outside, out in the other room too.
Yeah, I used to be a producer, not a rapper. Okay. So this phenomenon that's hitting the internet, the Mandela effect, if you haven't heard of it, the lady was at a party. Some people remember that the party Mandela died in 1986. Some said, no, he died in 2000. So she after this thing, she went online and did a survey, same thing. Then people started adding on to memories and things that were different and changed. Now, the trick was, they started injecting a lot of bullshit. Kit Kat had a dash, Coca-Cola. So that shit you don't think about and won't remember, but it'll kind of fuck with you. But then there are things that are happening that is obvious. Mirror, mirror on the wall. The mirrors on the wall. It now says magic mirror on the wall. Everywhere. How many people, how many passengers were in JFK's car? Yell it out. Say it again. 4. Now it's 6. Shit, the old bitch that was in the middle of the car now is interviews on Black King. she wasn't in the car. What the fuck did this happen? Of course, Forrest Gump has now changed. They found DVDs with his famous line. Life is like a box of chocolates. It now says life was like a box of chocolates. Luke. No, I am your father. That's what it says now. And there's much more that's blatant. And then there's much more that's like whatever. But see, the average guy who doesn't know this, or know about this, or know how to search, when you say, wow, what is this? They inundate you with so much crap. Like, you'll be watching something for 15 minutes and it's a college girl saying, yeah, Franks and beans, it used to be beans and Franks. And then, you know what I'm saying, you're going crazy watching. So you have to streamline some of the ones that you will say, oh, whoa. And there's more, I'm not even memorizing, more that's incredible. So originally, people started blaming it on this collider thing. They made a collider. Now I want you to listen to something. They did the collider and they put it on somewhere in Switzerland. But this location in Greek mythology is some end of the world phenomenon, sacred place that meant the end of the world. They have a giant dancing Shiva in the front, the god of destruction doing his destructive dance of destruction and creation. What are you doing? Like a big one. And then in the line, in the logo, 666. I'm saying, if you're conscious, and really conscious like we are, I was about to say supposed to be, like we are, these clues are directed to make your mind think the conspiracy bullshit. Too obvious. Because every person, 666 is the end of the world. They're not doing that shit on shit that's doing some real shit. So I've never spiritually got that this is some shit to worry about. They psychologically showed it in Terminator 3, End of the World shit, and in G.I. Joe, the first one, End of the World shit. So they put it in your psyche that this is what this, they never called it collider, but you see the big, long tube. The idea of it, they crash atoms until they create a black hole. So they said they're doing it, they're turning it on and all of this shit. We're turning it on at 888, or 88, 2008. You know what I'm saying? All this, you know, so I don't think nothing's happened, but people are attributing to that. They're breaking down our reality, parallel universes are crashing, the worlds are colliding, they have crossed the streets. Okay, but I'm not feeling that. Then, more of this Mandela shit starts turning up. Then you got this dude, Jordy Rhodes. He comes on, guess what, y'all? We making a D-Wave computer. It's a quantum computer. And we know how to actively manipulate parallel universes. Nigga, what? But wait, before we even go further with the crap he said, who's telling that? If what they're doing, they're not telling that. They're leading you to these fake places. And I'm going to tell you why it's fake. He also says, he did 2 interviews, did a second interview. He said, y'all ever heard of Necronomicon? We talking to the demons, and these are actually more advanced than demons. These is the great old ones. You not, look, nigga. You are not just communicating with Cthulhu. It's not a real guy just waiting for shit to happen. And once I wake up, boy, it's on. These are concepts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all Cthulhu, they don't want y'all to wake up. Cthulhu, if we was doing this lecture that time, I show you he's just nothing but Osiris, and he's nothing but your subconscious mind, which we're going to touch on here, what this whole party's about. Now, he said more things that's like, what? Too many, what you talking about? Then, so he's talking about this D-Wave computer. It's a quantum computer. They said they actively map the universe. As big as like a refrigerator. The cooling system is colder than anything in existence, colder than such and such Kelvin, just to keep it working. Shit. Mapping the universe. So now, real quickly, this is where your quantum physicists are at now. They always show this experiment. They set up a wall and they shoot, eventually get to atoms to the wall, right? And it's waves and particles. Long story short, when they found out when they observe any particles, they turn into waves, no matter what they did. That's what the experiment with. But when they observe it, either with camera or any way, it turns back into particles. Particles of matter, the waves, is actually called interfering waves. The waves are quantum. And they're trying to figure out how this all comes together. It's simple. The same way y'all come together and your subconscious mind is able to admit quantum thought. And these interfering waves are why you are all here. Hey, brother. Hey, sister. I just know it. And I let it. Because we are sending quantum information. Quantum information. So they're trying to mimic the universe with what's in your mind. You're the supercomputer. They're trying to take all of these things that are in you, make them physical, and turn them into technology for them. Because they cannot do what you can do. Because the substance that gets this all, do I have to say? See, we're activating it on such a human level. There's different levels to activate your melanin. Here's one word y'all will absolutely need. Imagination. And a child shall leave them. Why do you think children are daydreaming, they zoned out, they can play with their toys and be in there forever? Because they just came from the world where, in your true existence, that's how you build worlds. That's how you build worlds. And we slowly but surely take them out of that. Pay attention. Sit up straight. You look stupid. Close your mouth. So we get them ready to be intellectuals and shoot from the conscious mind, not shoot from the heart. So all of this you should be trying to do, especially if you took my class, is bring it back to this shit. Bring it back to the imagination. Because the imagination is how you activate the DNA. That's how you make it real. The changing of your thoughts is why parallel universes are breaking down. Not the D-Wave, not the collider, because of you. Because of all of you who show up here and just want this information, you're changing reality. And they're giving you these things to try to act like they running this. But y'all giving them the fucking credit all the time. Take your shit back. They faking you. That D-Wave shit ain't doing nothing. Because the real owner says that Jordy Rose guy is just a money guy. Let me tell you where we at. We're here. We need to make an analog one, and that'll do that. Then we need to create this, and that will actually manipulate parallel universes. So he lied. And the real creator said where we're really at with it. It's a quantum computer, so it can compute without looking. Therefore, it can manipulate waves, or the quantum world. Did y'all know they said there was a terrorist attack on the Statue of Liberty by the Germans? Man, I grew up and I ain't hear that shit before. When the fuck did this happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, when the fuck did this happen? I wouldn't have been so shocked on 9/11. Like, how dare they? You know what I'm saying? If I knew this shit happened before, I would just say, oh, here they go again. Fucking up the Liberty. Now they fucking up the buildings. There's a lot, and I'm missing a lot. Study the Mandela effect, but like I said, stay with it, because what I see on YouTube, they inundate you with so much bullshit, you're gonna just give up. But stick with it, and you will find pure information on this, and it will shock you. Like there's a lot of shit that Captain Crunch have an N or an AN, and there's a fuck. But you're gonna see shit that's like, no, nigga. You know what I'm saying? This shit, I remember this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even remember JFK and LaGuardia being that fucking close. Like, what the fuck? Like, when the fuck this happened? I thought it was on the other side there, Rockaway or some shit. That's just some Mandela shit. All right, so we need to understand how this computer works. For years, I've been teaching in class how to first. Now, let me also say this before we go there. Jordy Rose is now saying, and this is what they're really sneaking in. This is what they hope for. That AI shit. That's the real threat. That's the real thing. That nigga's saying we are making a robot that whoever is the smartest nigga in this room, you're the dumbest motherfucker to this robot. I'm like, first of all, what lion makes a fucking superior lion in the jungle? It's like a shark saying, we need to build some shit that can eat us. You know what I'm saying? We don't have enough competition around here. What the fuck is that? So he's saying, you know, all the things it does, it computes better than humans, da, da, da. Where he slipped up, because this motherfucker is the run in his mouth his motherfucker ever. Because he's a money man. So he's financing this D-Wave shit. So where he slipped up was, he's saying, for a guy that gets $100,000 a year on the job, you buy a robot player, good money, you know what I'm saying? He's doing it for free and for 24 hours. He doesn't even need a coffee break. You know what I'm saying? This will revolutionize reality as we know it. They're making a slave race. Making a slave race. They're controlling you. No emotions. No whatever. Y'all could burn this shit down. Stop looking fucking scared. Stop. Know what I'm saying? They're only doing it because they believe you are asleep. And I'm going to tell you today how to wake your shit up. Right now. Shit I teach in class. I'm going to give you tips and tricks. You know what I'm saying? Because we are winning and doesn't. They put this collider shit, they put this goddamn D-Wave shit in because they're trying to fake you out. You're winning. They're reacting to it. That's why Neil deGrasse Tyson had to say, we live in a simulation? Did y'all see that video? Sylvester Gray, whatever his name is. Now say again? Sylvester Gates. He's one of them, he's a nigga that got his hair like Einstein. This nigga really taking this shit serious. Don't come the fuck back. You know what I'm saying? Intellectual stupidity. Same shit that's on the Egyptian walls and you learn in the 3rd grade. We're in a simulation? What, the Matrix? Where the fuck did they get it from in the movie? Listen, so he says, this model here, that I did, this, you know, you get all these numbers. You ever see the movies, they put all them fucking numbers up? They're saying, stupid! You'll never understand this shit, so we're gonna pretend we're smart. See the way you said. No, they erase the shit. No. X, Y, over, chromosomes. Oh, shit! That's it! You cracked the fucking penis code. Viagra for everyone. Now, listen. So he puts this model up and he's studying the patterns. Because that's all they really do, study numerical patterns, which is sacred geometry. And they see what becomes constant. So anyone's saying there's random evolution, see, they put it in your face. They say it's random evolution, but they're showing you a system of numbers that keep showing up, which is not random. The Fibonacci code, the this mean, and the pi and the phi, all these shits keep repeating themselves. So that shows you in the pudding it's by design. Now it's by your design. It's by design. So while they telling you this shit is just random, shit just pops, son, the moon actually moves along where the shit don't turn directly from the sun. Motherfucker, that is too much shit just to be some shit that just happens. They tell you that there's this vast universe out there. What this gives you is the idea that somebody could come the fuck here, or you could go some fucking place else. See, if you knew you wasn't going no fucking where, and this is all you got, it becomes how the fuck you get off. Then it becomes all that shit that you study. Look, this is how you get off, nigga. You show me the Egyptian hieroglyph that gives you a health plan. That shows you how to breastfeed babies, how to get jobs, how to kill a white man. All that shit you got interested in, you show, what does it tell you? How to die and never come back. How to escape this game that you're in. Ready Player One? Now listen, he puts this model up, and there's this numerical system. I've seen this. He said, this same pattern I find in browsers, the web browsers. He's telling, listen, let me say you a shortcut. You went to a movie. Do you think fucking Brad Pitt is in the screen? He's being projected from a point. That universe is being projected from your pineal. It's an illusion. It's a hologram. It's all in your head, dog. Dr. Africa had books where they show the inside of a man, said the name of shit, but in the third ventricle. And it's the same Sirius star system. It's being projected here. Ain't no out there. You're going to get in the ship and bounce. I'm going to tell you what they're trying to do, and Geordie Rose said it. He said, we're actively trying to get resources from parallel universes. What he was really saying is we're actively trying to find a way to shoot our ass into another parallel universe that's more conducive to honky. Even though this one is conducive to honky. Only because y'all made it so. Y'all just chilling, waiting for an event. All that shit is within. So I get to where I'm at. I graduate. And I'm not better than anybody sitting in here. Why the fuck talk to you if I was? I truly know there's nothing in me that is not in you. Just a methodology for activation. And that's what I love to do, activate, methodology. We're gonna get some homework today, niggas. You ain't walking home just because that was delicious and they dropped it. I want to see some progress in this because it's all in us. Everything you need is in you. There's nothing outside of you that you need. If I hear another person, I'm just trying to get there and go to the next level, and what's the key and what's the this, I'm saying, nigga, the next level is sitting on your bed and closing your eyes. They showed you in the last Star Wars movie. I did all the breakdown of all the bullshit they was doing, all that shit. And I said, I just gotta find out who the fuck the last Jedi is. I thought it was gonna be Al Gore. But then, they really gave it to you. He trained her. Turned out she wasn't his daughter, which they was alluding to. She was a nobody. Which they was trying to say, anybody who has the mechanism and the will can be the fucking Jedi. The Jedi pillar. Now listen, he said, your first thing in training is what? Sit on that fucking rock and close your eyes. If y'all having problems meditating, get it off your mind. The greatest problem with meditating is you Negroes thinking you have a problem with meditating. You gotta find a methodology. The one thing you're doing is trying to focus your mind, get rid of the chatter. You're not thinking. So whatever you can focus your mind on for the longest, nigga, I hope it's pussy. Because that's where I start. Fellas, our imagination is there. We see a fine sister, she got nice lips. What are we thinking? Let's be real. Sisters, y'all see a brother, you just wish he would listen to the shit you had to say. Yeah, really? On your job? That bitch again? You need a promotion. You right? Oh, that's sexy. I want that. But see, we think that's a dirty thought or dirty thoughts, but we think them all the time. It's in you. It's in your subconscious. We're in a place where we can't act it out. Just start groping motherfuckers. In Walmart, like, ain't nothing, this is spiritual. It's spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Just go with it. You know what I'm saying? We're not there, but up here we did all of that, did we not? Girl, ladies, I'm gonna be real. I know y'all had some visions of sitting on dicks at the club. Y'all have more to lose. Just randomly going boink. And then the third one, give me a Hennessy. Boink. But if you have the dexterity for it, you know what I'm saying? All in your mind is happening, but even more, running people over when they cut you off, choking a motherfucker who like, you only got a loaf of bread, they in the line, just let me go, I just got a loaf of wonder. And they got coupons and shit. I had a wonder. You know what I'm saying? So it all ran up here. This is because your subconscious mind is the Necronomicon. Your subconscious mind is the dark side that you hear the evil about. Your conscious mind is the morality of humanity. So you hear about these things coming back and killing humanity. They're not talking about fucking kicking the door, waving the 4-4. They're talking about your moralism, which is a fantasy, an invention, will be do away. When you live in your mind, what you think heaven is, groping bitches at Walmart. If that's the thing. You understand? But remember in Inception, who are all these people? They're just your subconscious mind. So you're not violating the next individual. And really, them titties is, we all one. The titties is mine. We're doing this quantumly. Well, Khadijah would choke the shit out of it. It ain't even the rape charge. It's the Khadijah charge. That I ain't done like, I ain't gonna look at that nipple. What you want? What you want? You want some salad now? Khadijah, I know you see that nipple. No. So, this Geordie guy starts talking about AI and what they're doing. They've been preparing you for it for a long time. I had a list, but I think I can remember. We're gonna start with Roomba, the vacuum. How that motherfucker know all that shit? You know what the company's name is? iRobot. They gave me that movie. But do you know where them books came from? The iRobot dude made another book. And another movie came out. Bicentennial Man. With Robin Williams. Where they give a robot rights. Oh, but did you know they did that shit in France? Sophia, which is what they named her, which means wisdom, is the mother goddess in Gnosticism. So they know exactly what the fuck they doing. They calling her the mother goddess of it. Because they introducing you and she's still doing stupid shit. So you're like, they ain't ready though. But then they give you Alexa to start giving you shit. That bitch knows shit. Me and Khadijah got Alexa home just to fuck with her. That bitch just start humming for nothing. Khadijah unplugged it, my son unplugged it. I'm like, I want to see where this shit goes. Just be doing wild shit. You just heard shit. What is this bitch doing? I'm gonna unplug this shit. No. This might be some Pentagon shit. So you can see the consciousness in what they're trying to do is socially engineer you into this world. You got to think of how it was. I'm from the 70s. What do you mean, Skype? That's the Jetsons. What do you mean, a phone in your pocket? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck you mean, nay, nigga? What the fuck you doing, nigga? All of these things that we see as normal would have been absolutely shocking if I went in the 70s and showed you this. You would turd yourself. Like, who are you? Where are you from, sir? Uranus? But you have been slowly but surely, this is a thing they need to do. You've already figured out and thunk every thought. They have to create a false evolution for you. Because when you think you're evolving, like a watch that can talk to your phone, oh shit, I'm Dick Tracy. You understand? Hey bitch, what up? What you doing, bitch? I'll be on the way. Call to my watch, bitch. You know what I'm saying? You thinking in your mind that you're evolving. You're moving to the iPhone 6, iPhone 7. But if you guys knew that you've already done what you came here to do, you would have only one thing on your mind. Get the fuck out. Well, what's beyond? Like, you know what I mean? What is the definition of beyond? We did this shit. So there's only one thing left. So them needing time need to create a false reality of we evolving. So they gave you the word evolution. So now the brain goes, this number model is in web browsers. So Gray, remember, he's Einstein, so he's just saying his shit and he's keeping it real. Dyson, wait. You mean to tell me we live in a similar, I'm like, nigga, were you trying to win an Oscar? We live in, but
he said, wait a minute, this is blowing my mind. What was clear is he needed Gray to say it, but then he needed to buffoon it out and stretch this point out because they was going to go on the simulation campaign. He has to make it like his colleague said it because he is the spokesman for NASA. He is the mind control too. I'm going to tell you why with B.O.B., how they did that. Now, he's the spokesman, the mind control too. So he had to give this production. Now, everything he's saying, we live in a simulation, we live in a simulation, we live in a simulation. He's driving this word home because what's unraveling by you has to be explained. They can no longer keep it together. They can do something. They're chasing it perhaps with Collider or D-Wave, but they're not catching up. That's why things are slipping through that are unexplainable. One of the things was the Apollo 13 movie, Houston, we have a problem. Changed to Houston, we had a problem. People went crazy. And then it changed back. So I said, this one was too obvious and too clear. I said, so they have a way to manipulate it, but they're trying to follow us. I've seen when this shit started, who was here? It was the same faces. You knew everybody by name. Now I'm seeing incredible, my man, where's Crispin at? A little young guy with an afro. No, Panic, I listen to you all the time. My father can't even come here. He's in the back chilling. My father can't even come here. I've seen now going across the country, 19-year-olds, 16-year-olds, people 14 saying, I was listening to you for 10 years. It's not how much they want to know. This is one of Bobby Hemmitt's lines. It's not how much they know. It's how much they want to know. Oh, no, I do that shit all day. You will laugh your pants off. Oh, I can do Bobby all day. We talk for thousands of hours. Hey, Panic, man, we got thousands of hours of manpower on the phone. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What you know, no good. Yeah, there you go. All right, what you fucking with? What you doing? Yeah, man, I'm just doing that. Yeah, see, now that's the shit right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit. I was fucking with that shit. See, I did Dr. Lean Bay back in the, you know what I'm saying, 93. This nigga's memory was like, nigga, how do you remember that detail? Like, you know, the same year Nixon got his dog. Like, 1972. So, people always ask me, how is Bobby? Let me answer this now. Bobby is off the grid. He doesn't even talk to me. The last conversations we had, he wanted his privacy. He said, look, before I got sick, I hadn't talked for 2 years. So I said everything I needed to say. He said to me, his word, how many goddamn times am I going to talk about my yacht? He said, I felt like I said everything I wanted to say. I hear you. I didn't realize he was slick passing the torch because I was like, fuck that shit. I ain't talking to them niggas. Let's get down to this. Hell, well, why don't you go on the radio? Why don't you? He wanted me to do the internet. The internet kept popping up. I don't fuck with that internet. That's your era. You went to school for it. I'm like, well, okay, let's do it. So he kept pushing and pushing. Then Brother Rich is the first one who asked me to be on the show. Always tell his story. He was at a lecture just like this. Brother Bobby Hemmett. Didn't know Rich well, knew him. He walked by. I'm sitting here. He walked by. The Spirit said, anything he asks, say yes. I said, fuck you. I quit. I quit. Y'all caught me at a bad time. Every single thing Rich has ever asked me, I said yes. I can tell y'all story after story. God damn, that led to that. Rich was the first one to ask me to do Blog Talk. I was like, fuck, you know what? People ask me so many fucking questions on MySpace. I'm going to do one and keep linking them. Didn't work out that way. It was Brother Rich. One of the things that almost broke Blog Talk, Rich called me, I want you and Brother Bobby to do a video, do something together on my, I said, Rich, no, like, there's nothing going to happen. Michael Jackson. So I said, do what Rich says. Yes, Brother Rich. Rich handled that shit like a pro. He knew how to get me in. He factored that in. That shit changed lives. Changed lives. And then the story goes on. But so they now are running this simulation shit because the matrix is starting to break down. Think about this for a second. You've heard all your life, Armageddon, the end of the world is coming, we in the end times, but then you've seen about 1,000 movies about explosions, bombs, typhoons, all sorts of shit that you don't want to be around for. You know what I'm saying? But truthfully, the end of the world would just be the end of reality as we know it. The Mandela effect would be the end of the world. Because the reality that you've seen as this world is not existing anymore. Who said there had to be explosions? You all fucked up running with your baby. Oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? And all we looking at the news going, fuck that. I hope it don't come this way. Like, mind control. And I'm going to tell you, I bet you all know it up here because I knew it until I moved down south. You always show you on the news, niggas on their houses. We haven't eaten for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Boats going past their roofs, like floods and hurricanes. I'm like, it's fucked up down there. When Khadijah said, oh, there's a hurricane coming, I got under the bed. When I first I got under the bed. I'm like, that was it? So my uncle's telling me, I heard y'all getting it and niggas. I said, actually, it's really pleasant here. I wore shorts and a t-shirt today. So they make it seem like the illest shit is happening. And when I watch the news over there, oh, y'all niggas just stabbing niggas religiously over here. But I came from New York. You niggas was getting stabbed, but you know what I'm saying? Not as much as, you know what I'm saying? And the point I'm making is this is all mind control, social programming. They have to occupy your conscious mind. They have to keep giving you something and saying but keywords because repetition, trauma, and symbols are how you're programmed. And I teach you how to use repetition, not trauma, symbols to reprogram and deprogram your mind. That's what my class is primarily about. And I go for 4 weeks showing the methodology of how this is done. I'm going to give you all some tips and tricks today. Your conscious mind is your ego, and it's your intellect. If you're feeding your intellect, you're feeding your ego, period. It doesn't exist anywhere but here. It's quite useful when you're ordering a hero sandwich, pizza with no pepperoni. I know not a nigga in here eats pepperoni. No tep, nigga. No tep. Humaniste. Humaniste. I see the human in you. I see the human in you. What the fuck was I talking about? That's when the spirits start coming. Like I said, it's just when I start forgetting shit, that's when it's coming. Okay, here. You're feeding the intellect, you're feeding reasoning, and you're feeding your survival mode. You're born with that to survive. It's very weak. All it does is cry out when you're a baby and reach for titties. But then you start bumping your knee, falling off the bed. Get your ass in the bed before I beat your ass. Trauma. Brush your teeth. I don't want to brush my teeth, bitch. You crazy. May I have a cookie, bitch? Boom. May I have a cookie, mother? Because you would be an animal like, these white kids are crazy. Your kids are animals too until you keep whipping their ass and giving them that look. Don't talk to grandma stink. Hug her. Come on, y'all. I'm not saying nothing y'all don't relate to. Let's be real. Oh, y'all should have researched me before you came. Should have researched me before you came. We give it funky. I'm not here to give you politeness and tell you how wonderful you are. I'm here to tell you you got work to do. You got work to do. I've been doing this for a long enough time and talked to a lot of Negroes worldwide, and I could see where you're lacking. And it's just your understanding of where to effectively put this information, which is here. Your spirit. You're still trying to figure it out up here, which when you die, goodbye. This is connected to the subconscious mind, which stores everything. It is the sleeping god. Guess what? It's Osiris. That's who Osiris is in the underworld. The dark side is your subconscious mind. Not this. Not because I wear black, look spooky. That's just sexy and it makes me look lean. But that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I don't dress up to be the dark side. Nigga, we're coming in with a Lord Vader cape. You niggas better study. That's a production. You understand what I'm saying? The dark side is when you close your eyes And you got to do work to shut down your intellect and your reasoning. Your ego or your conscious mind is not to be eradicated. Because if I smack you, don't act like you ain't going to smack me back. And if I trip your mother, you ain't going, well, that's the laws of attraction. Mother, what did you do? What did you do, mother? So we need to be real. That's not it. That's not it. That's not what we're doing here. We need to understand where to place the ego because it's a human social tool. And out of control, it can be because it's always in survival mode. The shirt you pick is about survival. The way you have your hair to present yourself, where you live, what you drive, if you drive. Do you take the train or Ubers? All of that, when you wipe it all away, it's just about how you think survival should be for yourself, what you think is safe for yourself. You're in survival mode. You're a rat in the corner. Spirituality is coming from a different place. It's coming from a place of knowing, not reasoning, not deduction, not the thing. Somebody said, I'm going to send you the thinker. You know, that nigga doing this shit, which they say is different now. They said he was like this and now he's like this. That's a Mandela effect right now. They was going to send me the thinker, but the old thinker. I said, keep that, because I'm a knower. See, what y'all need to understand, y'all all are knowers. There's nothing to figure out. It's only to realize. And this self-realization comes as an individual enlightenment. We ain't going to do it as a people. Our people. I know you hear that a lot. Our people and our people need and what our people need to do. That's why shit ain't happening. I'm going to tell you this. When I said, fuck our people, I'm doing it for me. And now, ironically, I've changed the lives of our people. That's real. And what I realized is when you become that light and people are seeking light, that's how you benefit from it. Nothing my father said made any sense. But what he did made all the sense. Doers. And doers come from knowing. Well, if I do that, Brother Panic, fucking do it. What are you asking for me for? See what happens. I know y'all in the spit lane, so. Y'all in the spit zone. The spit zone. Yeah, I got to check my zipper. I've been wearing button flies. But I don't want y'all to be in the, oh. Give me a second. I don't want y'all to be in that zone. Khadijah again. Nigga, you had your dick out during half the lecture? What kind of nigga in pants you in? I'm sorry, I should have gave the warning of my mouth, my cursing. People know who this is. People know. I'm sorry if this is offending. You may want to go on break. Go get you a veggie plate. Go get you a veggie plate. They're pushing, let me tell you, they're pushing this stimulation thing because you are actually breaking it down. Your subconscious mind, what is in the darkness, is pushing towards light. That's what Bobby said, not even what I'm just saying. One of the first things as I was starting to transform, and these are all phone conversations, Bobby would say to me, listen, let me say this to you now and say it clear. He said, I'm the one who introduced the dark side to the black community, and they ate it up like a homeless bum on a sandwich, on a ham sandwich. You know what I'm saying? They ate it up. He said, but then I started seeing this phenomenon where people think, I'm about the dark side. I'm a dark side nigga. Dark side nigga. Dark side. He said, this concept is what we consider dark side, which is just your subconscious mind, is suppressed under the ego. That's the story of Set cutting him up in dimensional. That's what all of that means. Your consciousness that brung you here is Horus. Your humanity that I know is in your head going, I ain't gonna be able to do this shit, Panic said. I know it's there, niggers. Don't lie. Yeah, I got this. My dreads say so. That ain't gonna get it. That's Set. That's Set and Horus is your consciousness and your humanity, or the devil and the angel on your shoulder. Osiris, or your consciousness, is trying to redeem the father, the subconscious mind, where all the magic happens, baby. Real talk. So you have to understand 3 things: trauma, repetition, Symbols. Symbols are the language. Your subconscious mind talks to you every night in symbols. Dreams. Dreams. They talk to you every night in symbols. Westworld, while I'm here, is about us, about this shit, about the house nigga and the field nigga waking the fuck up. The divine whore is about us waking up. This is the West world, and they're showing you a flat earth. Oh, y'all better catch up with that shit. I'm a round earther. I'm a flat earther. Nigga, you still in prison. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I'm going to get the fuck off of earther. I'm a deaf coach. I'm a deaf coach. I'm going to coach you through death and transformation. I'm a life coach. Nigga said, you're kind of like a life coach. Nigga, I will murder you right now to prove that shit ain't right. If I could get away with that shit, nigga, I'm a deaf coach, nigga. You're welcome. Choke a nigga out, you're welcome. Job well done. We got to see, why did the Camites study death? Because once they understood death, life is a cinch. Everything you do is to avoid death. You're in survival mode. Your intellect, reasoning, and ego are running you, not your spirituality. Let go and let God, nigga. Let go and let God. The more, listen to this, the more, you see, your ego will do anything and tell you anything just to exist in you. So the more I went hard with spirituality, doing the practices, doing all the sniffing and lighting and cartwheels and eye closing and this, that, I called out 108 demons. Then went to get some Chinese food. I shouldn't have did that shit. This shit feel funny. This shit feel funny. And then your body start calming down to it. Demons is nothing but melanin, different aspects of your melanin that were named. The 72 Goetia, which are nothing but the 72 chakras inside your brain. Then there's the 72 angels that match it. I wrote it in my book. So the dark and the light side are one thing. There's no difference. You know that from the law of polarity. Like and unlike are the same. So what makes you think, see, this is church shit, evil and good. You got to get past that. There's no such thing as evil and good. Say, if y'all walk upon me and I'm kicking an old lady's ass. Looks evil, right? Evil. And when y'all agree, I'm beating an old lady. It's bad. Nobody want to say yes. Generally, we would see that as bad. But then if I said, she just killed my whole family, you would say, oh, this is justice. Right? So this tells you the one act is perspective and not real. Now, we dealt with Mayat, beating an old lady for nothing. Oh, that's out of balance. You get what I'm saying? You got something coming. And not really even karma, like you say. Karma is just cause and effect. We determine it as bad or good, or we define it as bad or good because we have a religious mindset. We have a Hotep religious mindset now. Hotep, amen. You might as well say that shit. Hotep or hallelujah, interchangeable with niggas. Because it's the same. See, know what happened? You change your reasoning, your intellect, and your ego, but your subconscious mind hasn't changed. And that dictates reality. Everything, see, if you get bit by a dog when you're 4 years old, you may not even remember it because your subconscious mind will protect you from it. But then you shake every time a dog comes around. And you can reason with it, oh, they stink, oh, they look funny, or they this, because that's how your survival ego does. It's going to give you something to wrap your head around to say, wow, that's why I don't like dogs. But the reality is you got attacked by a dog, let's say in the sim. And your subconscious mind is running on the technology of that's what's real. While your conscious mind is acting and reacting, is moving and shaking. So the more I got into spirituality, the harder I got into it. I seen the ego, oh shit. No, they reacted to me not holding the mic up. I'm sorry, I'm not an MC. All right, so the ego, oh no, they might have to deal with this. All right, so the ego, okay, I think we back. The ego will do anything to exist. It doesn't exist. You ever heard that phrase, the emperor has no clothes? That's your ego. It has no clothes, but it's dressed up in all the fancy wear, disguised in a hotep, in yoga positions, and all the rest of that shit in spirulina and kale. All the rest of that shit is disguised as, not to say these things don't help, don't get me wrong. Shit, when that sciatic nerve, I was like this like a motherfucker. It ain't over. Oh, and that shit worked. Courtney, fuck, shit, comedic yoga, shit, like farts was, these are not, this ain't regular gas. This is yoga gas. So, the more I went hard and was just one-track minded, I just want to know, 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 the more the ego started to serve me. It had no choice. So all the human shit really started to come. So as you're focusing on your business and your economic plans, that's why you ain't getting shit. You focused up here. When I focused on spirituality and knowing and who I am, that's the ego said, I got you, because all I want to do is be down, nigga. Herb hacks, I can't even keep up with them shits. If anybody can help, I live at 645. And I can't keep up with it. The secret to it is within you. It's not going to be, we're going to politic when we got something, but we're trying to politic our way into success. You have to have something. These towns that we were creating, all this Black Wall Street, there was many of those. And you had to be a blacksmith. You had to know how to fuck with horses. You better grow good corn. You had the whole house. You could play piano. You know what I'm saying? You was the guy, the preacher. Hey, brothers, y'all got to stop. Everybody has something to offer, and we functioned within ourselves. When we were, see, they have the elite whites, or the fake elite whites, and then they have your overseers, which are white trash, who they feed in their subconscious mind they're better than you. So no matter what or low or how many jelly sandwiches they eat, always better than you. So now you had the Negro in America surpassing the whites. This is fucking up the order of things. We lending them money. Canes River people, I'm direct descendant of those people. And there's books that tell me about my lineage all the way to Africa on my father's side. But them niggas was ballers. Ballers. And I'm like, oh, this shit is fly. You feel all egotistically better. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't an average Negro. I was an aristocrat. And slowly but surely, they was lending money to whites and all this rest of the shit. Then they gave you that Martin Luther King shit. People say, well, how was he? He's an agent, but how was he? He told y'all, you the coffee maker in the town. But instead of your coffee, because we are psychologically prepped that the white man is better. So it was easy for them to go get your ass busted up at Woolworth. They're going to throw some hot shit in your face, but curl up into a ball. Because eventually, they're going to serve us this coffee, nigga. And you the coffeeologist. Like, fuck it. They could brew some shit better than me. And it was psychologically it was traumatically ingrained in your subconscious mind. That's why it was easy and still easy for you now. Because you was on the train, on a plane over here, everybody got attitude, cutting off. As soon as the white lady come, oh, miss, go ahead, put your bag up. Your kid is so cute. And move, bitch, with the dreads. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? Psychologically, this is there. The subconscious work needs to happen. Otherwise, you are doing nothing. We're going to first start with meditation. You can listen to music. Stop saying Om. You don't have to do that. Put on your favorite song and be at the concert. Be in the moment. You're trying to zone out. For others, I'll teach you what my father taught me. My boy Earl's here. Early Bird. We're childhood friends. He remember my pops. Early on, when he was like 6 years old, he would do these meditation sessions. Nigga was wild. He bought a hypnotism book when I was like 15 or something, and it came with one of them discs. So he was trying to hypnotize all us by doing this shit. But let me tell you, I just faked the shit. Like, we got tired. I'm on a plane. We're going down. Oh, I'm on a boat. The waters are rough. Then I woke up. He said, you're not supposed to come out of it like that. He went and told Linda, guess what? Now, only thing funnier than that shit is when I told him I was faking when we was old. I was like 40. So it was me, my sisters. We was at my sister's house. We was on Roosevelt Island. He's over there. I said, Dad, man, that time you hypnotized me? Yeah. You know that nigga told everybody in the bar, y'all hypnotized the little nigga. Trying to get down to some shit. He always fucking up in school, so we working towards a better day. So I told him, you know, I was faking. That nigga's whole face. Like he went back in the Mandela. Like, funny dude. I mean, good father, speech after traumatic ass whipping. And I could see when I needed to, I thought I wasn't even listening. But he said the same things over and over again because it's programming. Then I realized, I said, all the shit he was telling me, he wasn't even fucking doing it, slovenly motherfucker. Then I said, oh, he wasn't trying to make me him. He was trying to make me better than him. The same way I tell my sons now, smoking weed, what the fuck is wrong with you? But back in the days, nigga, shit, nigga, that ain't even a thing that ain't my constitution. Now it's like, motherfucker, y'all stink. Just wash up. Go look at the papers and see if there's see if they hiring somewhere, nigga. Fucking staying around the basement. We fucked up with all this herb pack money. Like, all he did was ziplock the bags for me. Here's $50. And, you know, he's just ziplocking them. That's a lot of work. So, I mean, but he got used to that. Then he started working with the handyman Byron. That nigga smelled like a straight monkey when he came home. For the whole week, Byron gave him 50. He was looking like, this ain't what I'm used to. Like, I was like, yeah, nigga, you need to get into business now, nigga. You know, instead of you working, fucking turning over bricks, nigga. Whoo, nigga. And anyway, fucking now what was doing? So he told me early on, he was big into Eastern philosophy, though, my father. And a lot of my punishments was reading those books. So he was a big meditation guy. So he said, as a kid, he told me, think of an apple. And with all 5 senses, enjoy the apple. So you're seeing it in your mind. This is an exercise in your imagination. Your imagination has been asleep for so long because you've been taught. Everybody in here had a report card that says daydreams too much. You're like, what? When did I daydream? Like, where are you getting this from? Oh, I see my sister there. Hello, sister. Hello, sister. Hello, Carol. My aunt is here somewhere too. Aunt Yo Kevit. Hello, Aunt Yo Kevit. Hello, Aunt Yo Kevit. Where you at, Aunt Yo Kevit? Where? Aunt Yo Kevit. She was supposed to be my mother spiritually. She was conscious since she was a kid. My grandfather was conscious. He was the magic OTO. But I chose my mother to come through instead of her because I'd have been fucked up. Them vegetables and shit. She's been live for longer than half these niggas been born. Not vegetarian. She's been vegetarian before all you niggas was born. But live before half you niggas was born. Like, how do you do that? Like, that pizza and shit, boy, I can't do it. Like, you could just do it and don't put that on it and just put that in. Like, this shit ain't pizza. This is an idea of a pizza. I get it. I can't do it, auntie. So I would have grew up with her. I couldn't do it. And my grandfather spiritually said I was supposed to, she was the firstborn. She was supposed to have the first kids. I skipped. Went to my mom's. See, my mom's was hood. You know, we lived in the projects. My grandfather's from Queensbridge. My mother moved on the next block. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't trying to get out. She was trying to expand on this shit. You know what I'm saying? So my father taught me this. Y'all focus on this apple. Y'all beat it to death. This is something you touch over like 100 times. You smell it, the crunch of it. What you're doing is focusing your mind on one thing that's simple and that you don't have to think about. So you don't have to think about an apple. You're trying to stop from thinking. So you don't have to think about an apple or a banana. Then you think about your bike or your car, sitting in your car, not even going nowhere. How it smells, how it feels when you get in the seat or a train, you know what I'm saying? So whatever it is you do. And then you take it to your mother's house. You get more complex in things you don't have to think about. Then you eventually get to things that maybe like the Eiffel Tower. What you're doing is exercising your imagination, and this is step 1. The movie The Jedi, close your eyes. He said, think of all the elements and think about all of them, how they interact. That's the force. He's talking about melanin. Melanin is that substance that's in everything, and it dominates when there's everything, and you have a lot of it. so you could dominate all the elements. You just think shit is outside of you. Their greatest victory was to make you think anything you need is outside of you. People come to me constantly, well, I'm trying to get here, I'm trying to get there. Close your eyes, you're already there. You have to realize it. You will never get there if you keep trying to get there. And that's the mind control. You start saying to yourself, remember, y'all heard fake it till you make it? Just because Martin Lawrence said that shit is an occult goddamn phrase. It's telling you, be here now. You are God now. You ain't becoming shit. You old school shit. You're realizing these things again. You're doing this to self-realize. You're not doing this to become shit. How do you become what you are? You get what I'm saying? You're having this human experience. The idea was to dumb yourself down to walk back, chicken walk, back to your, or cake walk, back to you who you are. You're not suffering. You are Prince Akeem in America. Spirituality, tell Jaffa Joe for the wire to be $1 million. But you always had a guaranteed seat at the throne. You come in this ignorance because you need to evolve. So whatever you like is nothing more than you already got this. You already know this. How are you God of all things? Actually older, titans, chaos beings. God is just a title you call yourself on earth, which means you master creation. See, I master creation because I am the magician that can pull anything I want. And so can you. I'm not bragging. I'm teaching these classes and putting my heart in. I go from 2, sometimes to 10 at night. There's people in class now. Raise your hand. 10 at night. When I'm supposed to be done at 4. I miss my stores, everything fucking with y'all. Because it's just that pack is actually right on the verge there, but it's your own mind that stops. It's not the white man. He put shit into play and you accept it because he set you up right. He already did the work. And we keep passing this Willie Lynch work on and setting the subconscious mind up. Don't pick the baby up in the crib. He's going to be spoiled. Let him cry. That's from slavery. Because you know you wasn't going to be able to suckle that motherfucker. Get used to it now, nigga. They done sold you off. So all of this subconscious shit still carries on. We have to address that. We have to address that. This simulation, this illusionary reality is nothing but a game you're in, like Grand Theft Auto. You're the player. You gave your controller to the white man. We need to do this and he's doing it. Fuck him. Fucking nobody. How dare you waste your time talking about that shit as if it's a threat? He's a threat to your humanity. Stop being human. Stop being human. Job well done. Become spiritual. And watch the reality. Watch the reality change. Watch who's the... Stop saying you the master reality if you ain't mastering it. Do you know who you are? Remember that shit from Malcolm X? Do you know who you are? You better know. You're a magician. Your thoughts are what changes this reality. And your thoughts are on what the fuck he's doing. Who's in the Illuminati? What kind of ring Beyonce had? What does Baphomet really mean? Get the fuck, nigga. This shit is, I can tell you what it means to me. I don't give a fuck what it means to you or who the fuck, whatever the fuck, nigga. I can tell you, before Khadijah, there was a lot of Baphomet drawers. Got me Khadijah. Baphodesia. That motherfucker's on fire. This is the same move as the dancing Shiva. Creation and destruction. Solver and consolver, whatever the fuck that is. But they talking about evaporation and condensation. They talking about you're a forever being. These wings represent astral flight. You got kundalini, you got androgyny, you got this meditative pose, you have illumination. And I'm missing shit too. In one symbol, you're trying to reason with the shit with intellect. But you know, in 1972, Euphrates Levy made it. Oh, yo, fuck who made it. Got it back, son. I rocks and roll. This is the great God Pan, hidden in his smile. hidden in the darkness is the light. Do you know why they did dark symbols? To keep dead niggas out. If this hurts you, you ain't ready. Your spirit ain't ready. Go home. Go home. Go home. If I've seen it all through the years. I ain't fucking with that. Ain't nothing to me. Don't do nothing. Good. All the kundalini, then you can't claim kundalini, androgyny, melanin, astral flight. You know, you just left a lot of shit on the table, player. You know what I'm saying? And then there's I don't know something about that. What does it mean? Because it's speaking directly to your subconscious. You've been through lifetimes. So your spirit is calling out for it. If your spirit don't see this, don't like this, you're no skin off my ass. You're just not ready. And you don't need to be ready for me. Somebody else, I guess I'll see you next lifetime. We'll be butterflies. You understand? This simulation, you have to take control. You take it in a specific way. So we start with meditation. We start with being able to focus our mind. You understand meditation is like exercise. If breathing works for you, by all means. Breathing just distracts me because I start to think, 1, 2, 7, 4. I'm not getting, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck? But that doesn't mean it don't work. And that doesn't mean it won't work for you. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, I gig a lot on stuff, but I'm gigging because you're not following me. You don't follow my philosophy. You do what works. How do you judge this? If the shit just works. That's your judgment. Not as did you get initiated and your beads ain't right and Oba Umba Sadakuda. Did you do your Oba Umba Sadakuda? Ego motherfucking maniacs about nothing. African Christians. No tep. No tep. What's funny is they'll try to panic is giving out these t-shirts with Paulos on it. Oh no, this is blasphemous. I said, nigga, I don't even know how to address that stupidity. Fortunately, a lot of other people did, and I be seeing people that mad at me, and then I'll see their apologies. I never knew they were mad. I'm like, well, let me go back. Like, what happened? I have panic, this and that, because this is motherfuckers defend me and defend, but it's not me personally. It's speaking to something that's in them. You understand? There's people coming here from all over the country right now. Panic this. I've gone all over the country. Canada. There's 2 UK people here. Panic, I came, panic, I came. And now they get a master treat. It ain't about me. This time it's a master treat. But you see it because people want this. You would never see that before. People want this information. And this, just the warning of it is changing reality. You are the player, but we're doing it from the unconscious collective. Your consciousness or your conscious evolution is in your hand. Jedi. First Jedi mantra, close your eyes. Think of that. The second level. Meditation on something small, number 1, right? Try to focus. You're doing exercise. Don't look for any results, just do it. By the time I was 16, I told my father, man, I've been meditating all these years. There ain't shit happening. He said, you still been meditating, nigga? I was like, yeah, I closed my eyes. I said, the only thing I see is kind of jumps back and forth, and I'll see light monsters. He said, nigga, that's alpha state. He said, that's the goal of this shit. I said, nigga, I'll do that right. Look. And back. And, you know, he got really excited, started telling me. One of the things he told me was change the game. New York in the 70s, the trains was ridiculous. The sound, I'm in New York, so y'all niggas know. Like, I like to usually tell a story to somebody else. Like, they be like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, y'all niggas took the train here. But in the 70s, y'all should remember, the noise, even still now, is semi-noisy. But the noise was, like, incredible. People wore earplugs, you know what I'm saying? All the ridiculous shit. Earl will tell you, one time I rode on the back of the train, the 4 train. He said, nigga, you crazy, nigga. Nigga, you crazy. I'm like, yeah, nigga, I'm trying to impress niggas. I'm from Queens, he's in the Bronx. I said, Dane, my boy Dane, who's here, he was like, nigga, you moving to the Bronx. I said, I'm gonna go slap box the shit out these niggas when I got there. But then I met Earl, he came, knocked on the door. Y'all moved in? Hi, my name is Earl. I'm like, you fucking up my thing, dog. I'm getting in the stance. Him and his sister came, met me and my sister. And, you know, it's been my boy ever since, you know. But, or one of my boys, and then to find out he's conscious. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. My boy Reggie Wells. Reggie Wells is from the hood. So I'm not even trying in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Angela's from the hood. All knew when I was a little conscious. When Reggie Wells hit me and said, hey, let me get a copy of your book. I said, oh, he thinks it's one of them hood books. Like, I'm looking out the project window. You know, the things I've seen. So I said, cool, you know, I'm gonna send it to Reg. Then Reg started talking to me. I said, oh, this nigga he know he's conscious. Reggie Wells, my man. So I was so happy, and Reg is here too. Give him a hand. Dane a hand. I love these people for being conscious. It's like you should be honored for being conscious. Like Reggie, we was at the pool when we was little. Reggie pulled out a sandwich. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? He said, fried bologna. I said, oh. I said, look, let's go to my house right now and have a conversation with my mother. Ma, give me this cold shit. Put it in the pan. Whip it up. Reg, sit down. He sat down in Reese's chair, my sister's chair. Sit down, we about to get this grease hot. She said, there's a bubble in the middle. Reggie reached over. Tell her to cut it. Ma, cut it. Cut it, Ma. I said, oh, all I wanted was bologna sandwich, fried bologna sandwiches. Thanks to Reggie, I was eating the worst shit on the earth. What is the fuck bologna? You know what I'm saying? But fry that shit up, boy. Yeah. See, Dane would eat fried spam. I know he in there. I remember I'm putting this shit in the I couldn't go to the spam. That shit in the can wasn't right. Hash and shit. Vienna sausages. Like, they'll feed niggas. They'll feed anything to you. Anything. So, alpha state, I was meditating all these years. You want to get into what they call alpha state. When you're in alpha state, that's what they're going for. You daydream, you scry, that's alpha state. When you zone out in front of the TV, that's alpha state. In fact, I teach in my new book coming that, you know, we fast forward through commercials now because we got the TiVo and then the shit that we could do it. You think that's a problem? Your subconscious mind sees every image. So to stand there and do it and wait for your show come on, now they just go with the images. You don't need the sound. It's all being programmed. That's where they want it. They don't want you thinking about it. They don't want you contemplating it because you took it. They want it to go into the subconscious mind. They want you to go make a sandwich while the commercial's on. My show was on. They want you to zone out because you're not blocking it. Your conscious mind also blocks. It blocks. That's what it's there for. Otherwise, you'd be schizophrenic, believing everything. So your conscious mind also blocks. So when you turn it to your sandwich or the bathroom, the commercials is playing. That's what they want. That's why they give you a jingle, because a jingle is repetition. It's programming. Know what I'm saying? Listen, I haven't eaten beef since the 80s. 2 all beef patties, pickle sauce, lettuce, cheese. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, nigga. I don't want none of that shit. But that shit right there sounds like we may all need to take a trip. Get us a $1 jump off, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I could go on for days, you know what I'm saying? Westonality, Kit Kat, would taking me a break, give me a break. Like I do this in class, I got a laundry list, listen, of taglines. One of the best taglines ever was from Sweet and Low. Sweet and Low, there is no equal. Genius shit. That's the programming. That's because see, while you playing around trying to say, I like Snickers, but I don't like Milky Way, they're programming you with the, aren't you hungry? It's so satisfying. Have it your way. Coke is it. It's the choice of a new generation. Be a new nigga. Stop with that old shit, nigga. Coca-Cola medicine, motherfucker. You go all day with, they're actually giving you commands. Have it your way. Have it your way. You start dancing that shit. They show you visually at McDonald's every life success. You graduated. Let's go to McDonald's. You got a new car. Let's go to McDonald's. You fucked her? Nigga, let's go to McDonald's. You hit that shit? Nigga, let's go to McDonald's. You know what I mean? So, but they show you graduations and bands, all of this fun-filled fantasy shit, and it ends with a hamburger. So psychologically, well, shit, y'all all know, why the fuck, did y'all ever think, why the fuck are there playgrounds at McDonald's? Oh, nigga, yeah, of course it's for the kids, but kids ain't got no money. It's for when you grown and you having a hard fucking day, you go, oh shit, I was so happy here. Maybe I'll get a burger and ingest happiness or a happy meal. So they're programming you as a child to find joy connected with their product. So they're not playing with the shit you playing with. You trying to fight with intellect, reasoning, deduction, and old history shit. You can never see me open one of them motherfuckers up. You can put this shit up and be like, Jesus walked. You see us up there. It means it's real. It's in lights. Nah, I don't do those. Because I'm telling you straight up, this shit is on you. It's not even on history. History and all that shit, we need to know this information. No doubt. No doubt. For me, I'm looking for activation. Methodologies. Put some Tiger Balm on your pineal gland and go to work. You know what I'm saying? Go to work. The second thing is repetition. I am God, I am God, God I am God. I am the force is with me, I am the force is with me. You just say whatever in the fuck you want. The only rule is not I will be God. I am God. I am rich. I am perfect. I am healed. I'm sexy. I can moonwalk, nigga, right now. Not like I will learn and I will never. You start programming yourself because your subconscious mind reacts to repetition. I am God, God I am God, God I am. It's better if you could say it backwards too, because it's not looking at linear. So you're hitting both sides. I am God, God I am God, God I am God, it knows all that shit. You say all that shit or whatever you like. I have the biggest dick. I have the biggest dick. I have the biggest dick. You could be 2 inching your ass through, but you're going to be putting all your hips in it now. I have the biggest dick. I have the biggest dick. You're programming yourself. As simple as that. You're programming yourself. You have been programmed. Now you're going to program yourself. The trauma, you don't want to beat the shit out yourself. Pfft, I'm God. It'll work. But the Africans did it. That's what initiation was. That's what rites of passage was. Cutting up the fatu. Remember Roots? They said, we must cut your fatu. Remember that shit? And this trauma psychologically sets up him to say, now I'm a man. He believed that shit in his heart, or they released it in him. Psychologically, he'd been telling all his life, you're going to get that fatu cut, player. Until then, you can't hunt. It's big dog shit. Give me my bow, nigga. You cleaned it? He's like, oh shit. Get my fatu cut, nigga. Get this fatu cut, it's going to be on. And now he came home, remember? I'm a man now, Grandma. I'm a man. She said, shut the fuck up, nigga. Go get the broom. Go get the broom. But psychologically he set up, what do we do now? It's 18. Get the fuck out. Okay, I guess I'm a man now. It don't work. My son's 22. I'm in the basement. The other one's pretending not to live with us. I'm just here every day, but I don't live with you. I'm using every resource in the house, but I don't live here. Like, nigga, I need to cut your fatu. Make you a man. Get your own hut, nigga. And I love my boys. They can stay forever. No, they can't. They got a little bit more. They got a little bit more time. The oldest one looked like Khadijah, so that'll help him. Torrin is the helpful herb pack guy, but he's slipping. You know what I'm saying? He's slipping, so we're going to see. But, so those rituals were to actually psychologically set up and get you to step 1 and step 2, tattooing, scarring. It wasn't just because that's the tribe and you look sexy. That was initiations into the next level through trauma, because that programs you. Same way your mother said, stand up straight, I'll beat your ass, you nigga. And then it turned into, what? You see that look and you straighten right the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? When you get in that house, when they ask you, do you want seconds? You say, no, motherfucker. As soon as they go, would you like something else to eat? She look at you. No thanks. I'm so full. Because you know that trauma made that a reality for you. That's what the ass whippings was supposed to be. And we probably wasn't dishing them out like that until we knew we had to make children that would get sold the fuck off if they ain't act right. But we still doing it. And white people do the opposite. They let their children believe they can do anything in the universe. You see them in Walmart? Mommy, cookie, bitch. I got your cookies, baby. Come on here. Like, oh, mommy, I'm having an accident. Ugh. Gotta clean me up. Like, nigga, you fucking 13. You ever see them pushing a baby in a fucking leg? Come on, sweetie. Put your legs up, sweetie. And then we like, this is a shame. But them motherfuckers grow up and rule your ass. Because psychologically, they have been set up to think they could do any fucking thing they want. The problem is they don't have any balance, no mayat, or what we later day call morals. They don't have that, so they will murder your ass, then go listen to your hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So the big idea here is we're not really getting in trauma, but what we need to do is address trauma that's in us. This is chakra work, heavy chakra work. So much so that could be a whole class, but guess what? Khadijah has a chakra class that is fucking dynamite. Because no matter how much I could give you mentally and how you know mentally waking up that subconscious mind, you still worried about your mama and your papa who never came home and went out for them cigarettes, never came back. Like, that's the blockage. So you're gonna have to block this, free this, because this is the gateway to spirituality. You learn this either with your heart or here. So if you hear the repeat shit, you're learning it here from the ego. If you are here to become shit, it has to happen here. This is the Christios energy. This is where you're supposed to have healing, compassion, forgiveness. Not for these regular niggas, because they will offend you every time. 15 minutes? Okay. They will offend you every time. You understand? You're supposed to have compassion, forgiveness, and healing for yourself. The lower chakras. These lower chakras. And then you extend that to the next person that has offended you, hands down. I don't care how sweet she is, your mama. She's just another human being. So you have to release her from her power. And your father, if he was around, release him from your power. It's not hate, but you have now grown up. And you're not relying on human things. So you're sweet, you go to Thanksgiving, or whatever the fuck you do. Nothing's changed there. You know what I'm saying? Me and my sister bug out, have fun. But I don't rely or see her the same entity as something that we're gonna argue, could hurt, and I'm gonna hold a grudge. All that chakra shit, released. You know what I'm saying? She could stomp me in my back. You so crazy, sis. Why you do that? I don't do that shit. She's looking like, well, let's try this shit out. I got a little payback for you. The idea is you're releasing this. You're releasing this. You're releasing these traumas. You have to first admit to yourself. Your ego has told you you're the greatest hotepper in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You do this when you meet people. You do this. Not you, I hope. He's about that pussy life. He do this when he meets you. Yeah. He's getting his sex on. Like, you know, you do all this fanfare, but internally, it's to mask that nothing's happening. You want this to be an internal realization. That's the only thing that's working. That deals in the dark side. Out of darkness comes light. So the light that you're seeking is in the darkness of your own mind and the own experience that you chose to go through. Your old beat up, fucked up mama. You had to live with your grandmama, you know, all of them fucked up experiences. And like, I could go on for days about our experiences. But we had to release it, let it go. Otherwise, you'll be destroyed. Destroyed. And you have to work, you have to be honest with yourself. Where does it hurt? You never got the girl in high school that you wanted. Never had good Nikes, you wore Skips. No one invited you to the prom. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just embrace that shit, fuck it. Nobody invited me to the prom. I just went there and did the electric boogie. Fuck you, man. Fuck him. I'm saying, wasn't the smartest cookie in the tray. You know what I mean, at the time. You gotta admit this to yourself. I do worse shit. I just pull up my shirt, try to suck my own titties in class. Like, we're gonna get past this mystique that you think you cool. I did a whole class with the camera on my bunion. Now you niggas gonna get it. And what I'm trying to show them, stop putting on airs. Then I started telling people, talk African. I can't do it, Panic. Like, see, what are you holding on to? What dignity do you think you have that you're trying to keep? That's what you have to release. What people say about you, what I'm gonna think about you, I think you God. And that's why we really here. But now I think you human, because you stuck. Wakanda. Wakanda. Let go. What so-called dignity? And I really got that subtle message. That's what Bobby was doing. He used to tell you all these stories that were a little compromising, and then we're like, oh, no tab. And then ultimately, I started to get what he was doing. He was saying, this ego is worthless. The emperor has, what dignity do you think you have? What has he said in some way that shit ain't happened to you? Problems on the toilet. You all had it, you know what I'm saying? No one's going to discuss it, and you don't need to discuss it, but you just need to know it's real. I know you had it, you had it, you had it. We don't have to discuss it, but in my mind, there's nothing that I'm not going through that you're not going through. We sharing this fucked up experience that we chose to share. Now we are waking up. We went to sleep, and now we are waking up. And your responsibilities as the first who have awoken is to put in the work. Become the light. Rich said, one of Rich's favorite lines is, when I seen all these occult books, you don't hear we and us and they. And the we is the people. I started feeling guilty. Like, damn, what about our people? Then I said, fuck them, them niggas ain't really. And see, I. So the more I just became it, then the more panic you changed my life. Panic when you said this, panic when you said that, panic you did this, panic I did what you said, panic this and that. And I feel results. Not like they went to a lecture and got stimulated intellectually, but they had something to do that they felt and they understood one step closer. So that means it's your responsibility to do this work because y'all the ones who are bringing light. We brung light. Dr. Phil, who y'all about to hear, shit, that nigga woke up this shit. This shit. This is a founding member of this shit. I am happy when he said, it's good to see you young brothers keeping the integrity of this shit. I was on the phone. Rich said, tell me your information pattern. Occult lectures. L-E-T-E-U-E. Couldn't remember. Because that's the highest honor. That's the highest honor for what these brothers did in a time where it was. See, what they did, because they couldn't stop it, they just scattered it all over YouTube to make it seem like it's a thing. So people go, oh, they're these conscious people. They did it when the shit didn't exist and it was dangerous. They put their life on the line and there was no money in it. No money in it. Shit, Bobby, man, I'm taking the change off my altar. You go give me a sandwich. Very hard. So these brothers sacrifice. Y'all sit here and listen to everything Dr. Phil has to say. This is a master. This is the genuine, real deal who helped start this. So really, when he said y'all keeping the integrity, and that's why Brother Rich put this together, based upon integrity. Dr. Asir, keeping the integrity of teaching. Not sitting here going, what Dr. Asir said, let me explain or break down the color blue. Well, blue ain't really blue, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's where we at now. So that's a distraction. That's and they did a movie about it, Infinity Wars. Y'all don't even know they watching your ass when they had the heroes fighting each other. They were talking about the debates. They watch that shit. They know who you are. They're trying to explain where you at now, what you doing. That's intel. Y'all superheroes. They know who the fuck you are. You don't know who the fuck you are. So you want to do the repetitious thing to start programming yourself with anything. You talk in the now moments. In the now moments. Y'all can start with those two and see a dramatic change. Your meditation should become more complex. The next thing you should study is astral traveling, because this is where you get into the place where your subconscious mind starts to speak back to you. It speaks back to you in symbols. That's its natural language. They're called dreams. I was with my grandmama, then the elephant, and we was eating peanuts. All of these things are symbols that is trying to tell you. The more you step towards it, the more you will be able to decode it. What I hear people say all the time, I don't understand my dreams. You mean the shit in your own head? You don't understand it because you keep saying, I don't understand my dreams. Say, fuck it, I understand my dreams. Fake it until you make it. Fuck it, my grandmother eating a banana, oh shit, I'm gonna be rich. I want you to think for a second really deep. Who's giving the rules to say that? What don't mean that? Jesus? God? Fucking karma? Buddha? Osiris? Oshun? Alegba? I'm trying to figure out who the fuck say nah. Make it whatever you want. Your mind, start saying you rich and stop looking for an economic plan. I'm rich now. Shit, they told you that on Laws of Attraction with Oprah. You're playing a simulated game. You're losing the game because you don't know how to play no more. You in a game, my niggas. This is Grand Theft Auto. Kick a bitch in the vagina and get in the car. Just drive off, nigga. Do it. You understand what I'm saying? It's up here. You have to really make it. Don't try to believe it. Don't try to deduct it. Know it. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to be like, well, Penny keeps saying, fuck what I'm saying. Do what you need to do. Has to take spiritual baths in panties. Y'all niggas ain't ready. I just tell all this, yo, send your panties. Send your panties. So I know y'all motherfuckers. Khadijah said, you need to leave all them panties in New York, nigga. I said, okay. Oh no, it all stopped with Khadijah. That is the sunshine. I mean, sonnets to her ass. Oh, Khadijah. Oh, Khadijah. Every day. Love. Bobby used to always tell me, yo, you gotta find one. See, when I met him, he was like, you gotta find conscious hoes, nigga. I'm like, oh shit. I was on Black Planet looking for everybody with an onk on their page. That bitch got an onk. How you doing? Hotep. Then he started really, when we got cool, you need to find one. He said, this is the master trick. Nigga, you a sucker for love, nigga. I ain't doing that shit. Find one. Khadijah, listen, when I was little, I used to have visions. I'll make it real quick. I know my time is limited. I make it real quick. I have visions of this woman who used to get into bed with me. Finesse me. I'm like, oh, what is this? Is this a dream or is this real? Told my mother, Ma, I think something's going on. Nigga, that's a wet dream. Nothing's wet, but I'm feeling your point. And then my mother got sick and trauma, and then just went away. It was about 5 or 6. So I always remember what this woman looked like. You know what I'm saying? Never ran into her like she got the eyes, but that ain't the bitch. So going on in my rampage of conscious vagina, ran into Khadijah. So she's fine. You know, she just ordered an herb pack. Someone said, give it to her for free. She said, happy birthday. You earned a free herb pack. You're the first one that said it. So she's like, I'm about to move. Wait till I move. She moved, hit me back. I said, oh, here's free herb pack. So let me see if I can find a picture. I said, somebody tagged her. She didn't have any pictures up. I said, oh, shit. But I ain't seen the whole body. You see the picture here then. Shit turned to chewed bubble gum. So, so I'm looking and then talking to her. So we had the BlackBerry. I was not giving out my phone number. I already had too many Hotep brothers. So then you had a code, if you remember that. So gave her the code with texting. Test number 1. Show me your vagina. No. Oh shit. Dream equality. I got catfished before it was catfish, so I'm like, I'm coming to Atlanta. Come on. I said, send me more pictures. She sent me full body shots. These are today. Poof, poof. Listen, I fed her so much lobster. She's so mad. Like, she was like a thin rail. Like, I literally met at the airport and said, she's too good for me. Like, I was sitting there going, she's too good. When that bitch put on them sunglasses and started doing this shit, I said, oh, I'm out of my league. This motherfucker's fine. Well, I better rely on this panic shit. I'm starting dropping metaphysics. Yeah, I'm a smart motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't know my cuteness is gonna get this. So long story short, the second time I went out there, we went to a movie theater, we was in the dark. You know, you looking, you know, people change in the dark. It was that woman that used to get in my bed. Scared the shit out of me. I said, oh, it's her. She's gonna kill me, or we're gonna live happily ever after. Now the jury's still out. Still may get killed. It took me a while to even tell her this shit. That's how I knew this was some shit, soulmate shit. And then the story unfold. Happily ever after in 8 years. Well, we argue like a motherfucker. That motherfucker's like a G. She's the only nigga I can handle her and my sister. You just kind of say, fuck it, I'll think about it. Maybe you're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll get me to, fuck it, let me go in the room and reflect. You know what I'm saying? You might have a point here. Say, nigga, all you do is complain. Then my sister was saying that this week. All you do is complain, nigga. I'm like, fuck it, maybe I complain. Maybe I just talk. She called me a fucking curmudgeon. What is it? She said, curmudgeon? All these fancy ass words. My father had fancy words and now she inherited. You're a curmudgeon. I'm like, there's a name for this shit? You know what I'm saying? A fucking curmudgeon? Listen, guys, I mean, with the short time I have, you know, I go longer. But, you know, we have, you know, this is a metaphysical masters. My statement or message to you, you're playing a game. Don't take this seriously. Take it seriously to the extent, you know, you have to. But your first resort is spirituality. You need to delve deep into your power base. This is how it gets done. This is your technology. This is your weaponry, and you're not using it. You start simply, I know, see, you're looking for something big because you went to college and public school and Bill Cosby made y'all niggas go in the 80s and you went, you know what I'm saying? But it's not simple. You're sitting on the greatest divine mind in all existence. Every single book is trying badly to explain what you own. Activate it. It starts with thinking about an apple and then expanding. You're doing exercises to wake up the subconscious mind. Listen to what your mind says. When you fuck up, something says, something told me I shouldn't have did that. The more you do it, the more that something tells you in a big way. The more it turns into Jimi Hendrix, Bruce Lee, Tina Turner, and that bitch still alive, ain't she? All the greats. Rufus Thomas, you go on forever. That will give you information, your people, your ancestors, your family members. They want to help you, but they only could see light. You must gain light to have that conversation. You gain light by going in the darkness. Put your eyes at the top of your head with them closed. Look towards your pineal. It shuts these down and activates this. You'll start to see images, light images. They'll look scary. You stay with them. And then they'll turn to angelic birds, hieroglyphs you never see. Because you have demons at the gateway. You see them all in Egypt. They sit at the gateway. Those demons sit at the gateway. Because if you're scared, oh, you ain't ready. So you keep looking at them. They said, now that you're going through some darkness, here you go, nigga. And that was in the movie, I can't remember, Silent Hill. They said, now that you went through the darkness, let us give you some light. The darkness is closing your eyes and it's in your own head. The light is your aha moment. And that's all you should be in this for. Aha, nigga. Because you ain't coming up with no economic plan. I ain't seen that shit yet. Peace, we'll be back talking later. It's my time. All right, guys.
Y'all panicking now. Woo! And give his wife Khadija a round of applause. She's in the building. Yeah. Brother Rich, where you at? Come here, Brother Rich. Because we're about to take a 20-minute break before we bring on Baba Phil. All right.
right, one last 20-minute break. Then Dr. Valentine's going to come. He has a dynamic presentation. That's the main presentation. Right after that, we're going to have the panel discussion, and we can all go home. And y'all can go home with this information. Thanks for coming out. Just stick around, family. We almost done.